Hello and welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It's time for the beatdown. It's been going throughout the month of February in a multitude of games, and now it's time for the finals live here at the Game Pants Esports Arena. I am Michael Fisher. Joining me to help call all of the action is going to be Draco, and we're starting with Street Fighter V. And I'll be honest, fighting games and me don't really get along, Draco, so why don't you kind of walk us through what we should be looking for here?
We all know we've grown up in arcades with them. You start button mashing, but as soon as you get more into it, there's a lot of numbers. Without going too deep into it. Some moves are more advantageous than others, and it's basically a game of, is it your turn, is it my turn, and if it's my turn, how do I keep it, and if it's your turn, how do I take that away?
And were you following the bracket through the normal play going into the finals, and what should we expect from our two competitors here today in the championship?
Yeah, I was actually in the tournament. Unfortunately, I was last out, which is unfortunate. But if you've been following or part of the local Boise fighting game community at all, you got some familiar faces here and some new ones. First match in the winner's side, we have Ian and Danny Umahara, both of them stellar fighting game players across multiple fronts. And then in the lower bracket, we have Moo and Pencil. Moo, very good, solid player. Pencil actually more known for Tekken, so it's great to see him getting into 5. Street Fighter's come a long way, and people are finally starting to realize that.
I say, how much similarity is there between, you just mentioned that there's somebody coming from Tekken. How much similarity is there between Tekken, Street Fighter, Dragon Ball FighterZ? Those are sort of your stereotypical fighters. Smash is kind of its own category. So how much similarity is there between those three main fighting games we're going to see today?
I think we have a great balance today of the three if you're new to the genre. We're starting off with a typical 2D fighter, so the only accesses are, X, left, right, and up, down. And then we're going to go into Tekken, which is a 3D fighter, which introduces the Z axis. So you have side steps. The environment changes drastically depending on that. And then we have a versus game in Dragon Ball FighterZ where each player has more than one character. So you can call in assists to keep up pressure, to catch players off guard, and stuff like that.
And how bittersweet is it for you, Draco, to be last one out, so you have to watch everything that you could have been doing here if you just would have had one better result?
Part of the thing about fighting games is you learn, relative to other games, you learn a lot more when you lose. So one of the ways to really get better, and it's a little discouraging at first, but it's one of the things where the more you play, the more you're going to lose, but the more you lose, the more you can learn, the more you can get better.
And I know just from watching some fighting games just on Twitch, usually the upper echelon players meet each other a lot. Is there any history between the guys we're going to see tonight, and do you think there's anyone who's maybe sort of been favored historically in these matchups?
Ian has definitely been the king of Street Fighter for quite a bit here. And the guy's bantering right now, but Danny's no slouch. Both of them have taken tournaments in first place. They go back and forth. I'd be curious to see how well Pencil and Moo can do. Both of them were actually knocked into the losers bracket by both of the players up here. So whoever, if they can make it to grand finals, we will have a double jeopardy situation, which would be pretty cool.
I do love the fact I love the double jeopardy, the grand finals. I think that's one of the things that I think fighting games do really, really well. And let's talk about that. I know in traditional sports there's always an argument. Is it good to rest? Is it good to sort of keep playing and then you've been fresh the whole time? So what about that in fighting games? If you win our first matchup, you're in the grand finals. You could be sitting for who knows how long, or do you want to be the guy who has to go to losers but then has been playing the whole entire time?
I think there's definitely merits to both. If it is good to keep playing, but also if you're in the winner's side, and if you are good at looking for tendencies that your opponents make, and you're good at picking up on those, if you get in a situation where hey, I think he's going to throw in this pressure string, if they tech that, that's something you're going to want to be looking for, in the future. So I think it goes both ways. I think it's nice to keep playing, but I definitely also think that, especially when you're hot, sometimes it's nice to cool down, and if you're losing, it's very important to go to the character select screen, even if you're not going to change, just to let that momentum kind of reset and go back at it.
Yeah, I think you brought up that great point. If you are someone who's planning to get into grand finals, your future opponents watching, Are you trying to do anything to maybe throw him off, or are you like, hey, I just want to get to grand finals, I'll deal with it when I deal with it, I'm going to throw everything out there? Are you trying to hide something while still trying to win?
I would say that you want to do whatever you can to get the W, especially in the game. Since all these are final sets, so they are going to be first to three, best of 5. Maybe in the first game you don't show everything, but you might want to start conditioning your player or your opponent for something else. But when it comes down to the line, especially for the guys and the losers, you need to pull out all the stops, because if you lose the set, you're out, and it's important to just get that W.
Well, as we mentioned, we're getting ready for Street Fighter V. Fish and Draco here. We'll have winners finals, and we'll have losers. We'll have losers finals, and then we'll have grand finals here, all right around the corner. And like I said, Draco, my knowledge is about 0, so I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. So we're going into character select. Ian is going to be on the left. Danny Mahara is on the right, and we have the G versus Zangief matchup. Zangief, if you've played any Street Fighters, you know the guy. He's the big Russian dude. Known for what I'm going to be calling SPDs, which is screw pile driver. It's a command grab, which I'll explain a little bit more later, but both of these characters are command grab characters. They do big damage, big stun. They both have really big buttons, so you're going to see a lot at this range, but as soon as G gets going, it's really hard to stop. But Danny with the first knockdown, and here it is, that SPD, and now he's puts G in a lot of pressure. Good anti-air. And when you see this kind of back and forth at this range in the fighting game community, we call that footsies, just trying to get in and get the hit. And now Ian has the corner and a V-shift from Danny, but neutral jumps by Ian. Command grab in the corner. He's building up level 2 presidentiality right now, whiffs the command grab. Running bear grab from Danny to get it out. And Ian's gonna look to activate right here. Good V reversal, but no punish on the whiffed SPD. Oh, wow. So that was incredible. Ian thought something crazy was going to happen in the corner. Wake up V-shift from Mr. Umehara, and was able to convert off that. But one thing you'll notice if you're new to fighting games, and especially, specifically Street Fighter V, is that the blue bars down low is EX. That allows you to power up moves like you just saw there from Ian. And then the red bar is the V meter, which you can spend in a variety of ways. Right now, Danny Umehara just raw activates, so he's in what's called V trigger right now, so he has access to different moveset, like this move right here, the Cyclone. Reset, choosing to go for the reset, and then anti-airs with the air SPD. That was an amazing call out from Umehara. Checked by Ian, and this should be the kill.
You mentioned a lot that it's about, taking your turn and then seeing when it's the opponent's turn how you can stop it, or it's your turn how you keep it going. What have you seen from these guys in terms of keeping their turn going?
Well, neither of them have an invincible reversal, which is something that is kind of like a get out of jail free card. Ian, great sniff out on the command grab there. Neutral jumps out. Command grabs, and now we're going to the other corner, but an unlikely drop from Ian. But these characters they don't have any cheeky tools to keep that pressure to take it back. So this is going to be a lot of walking back and forth, getting people in the corner and fishing for those hits. And a great meterless finish there from Ian. So Ian will take the first round. First game, 1-0.
And you mentioned that maybe in that first game you hold back a little bit. I mean, the fact that G1 rounds 2 and 3, do you think map 1 was just them figuring each other out, or what do you think changed for him to win the last 2 games in that first round?
I think specifically for this matchup, or just any matchup against Zangief in general, if he gets going, he's a big probability character, so if he can guess right a few times on the command throws, he's going to be doing quite all right. But Ian's done a good job of sniffing out the command throws and avoiding that pressure in that mix. Oh, went for the neutral jump. See right there, Danny was thinking that Ian was going to try to jump out of his command grab, but Ian stayed on the ground, and Danny took the pressure. G and V trigger is very scary and gets the trade there. Nice jump try by Danny.
What do you think Danny needs to do to get a win back? I mean, it seems like the last couple rounds have definitely gone all Ian's way.
I think with Zangief the character, G has very big normal buttons, like that punch right there, that crouching medium punch. It covers a lot of the screen, and Zangief really likes to be up close and personal. So probably just a better defense, better approach game from Danny. He needs to walk up and block, but Ian makes that very difficult by good spacing on his buttons and getting pressure like this. Ian cashing out all 3 of his EX bars for the critical art, or CA, the super if you will. Choosing to opt for damage there and is looking to close out this round right now. And Zangief doing the exact same thing. V-trigger into his super. And right now this is anyone's game. Next hit kills. Ooh, but a drop there. Ooh, that was extremely close. I've been the victim to many of those. Normally that throw picks up, but just outside the range.
And do you think going into this potentially last match, I mean, you said going back to the character select screen, if you're not going to change, do you think we'll see that, or do you think he'll try one more with the same champion?
If it was me, I would. Even if you're planning on staying on Zangief, just, you know, you took, no, he's ready to go. He's confident. Zangief is definitely his best character. Starting off, getting good damage in, and you can see the stun gauge underneath the health bars in the top of the screen. If that fills up, the character gets stunned and you get a free combo. Oh, it hurts to get grabbed by that. Activation from Ian, and we're already in the corner. So here we're going to look for a command grab mix-up. Oh! You can hear G saying there that he missed it. Ian missed that command grab, and that was a lot of backdashes there.
So if he had hit that grab, do you think he could have won?
Oh, 100%. G gets a lot of... Zangief's command grabs do a lot of damage and stuff, but G, like this, gets combos after it. And here's that stun I was talking about. This won't kill due to combo scaling. I don't think. Nah, just barely. Goes for the overhead. So there's certain moves in fighting games. Some of them you have to block low. Some of them you can block either way, but some of them you have to block high, like that big leg sweep you saw. Ian will take this, I think. I think he'll take getting hit by this. Yeah, and then checks him with the low.
I mean, when you're one shot like that, I mean, was there anything he could have done besides just try and hope for a miracle?
For sure. I mean, you do hope, but it's, you know, there's no crazy things that the enemy can do outside of what you can also do to, you know, get in and get that hit and start something. Very close to stun. Goes for the command grab. Danny calling that out. And now Zangief finds himself with corner control. SPD. G stun gauge building up. Danny giving him no pressure. Crush counter. And this should be a kill. And just like that, Danny Umehara taking it back. Getting a game on the board.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I mean, that first round there was a little scary that he almost lost it, but the command grab miss was very lucky. Anything you could think they're going to change up, or do you think that they're even enough now that they're just going to run it back? Because, I mean, now Danny knows he can potentially win a round or two.
I think he can. The way the rules work in Street Fighter V is that you can only change your character if you were the loser. So right now the burden is on Ian to change character if he loses this game. But I think what's important to notice is I think Danny's doing a good job of looking at his own stun gauge, because Ian is definitely looking to utilize that command grab in those situations, because throws that stun reset your combo multiplier. for damage, which is very important. This is a guess here. Air SPD. Ooh. And this is guess again. And goes for the jumping light kick. Catches the top of his head.
It's been quite the little comeback here for Danny.
Oh, that was close to being disgusting. Just out of range for the super there. And Ian does a good punish. Great V-shift. That's a new defensive option that was just added to the game a couple weeks ago. Sniffing out the command grab. Oh. But Ian does such a good job of not giving up the corner once he has that position. A great anti-air there. And wow, the axe kick beating out the activation. G is a very strong character.
I've learned that.
Yeah, big body, does lots of damage. The command grab is good, and if you're not familiar with what a command grab is, there's regular throws in this game, but command grabs beat those. But they do come out slower and are much more punishable. Both trying to whiff punish there. Nice jump over into EX SPD. This is a true guess for Ian. Gets it right with the V-shift. The one hit of armor there from Zangief on that charged heavy punch. Oh, big crush counter. That might be death. Nah, he'll have just a little bit left. And caught him guessing something there, but Ian will take it 3-1.
A very impressive first round. So Ian will go on to the grand finals. Danny will have to fight his way through. And then the other thing that, I'm just noticing is, how much does fatigue play a factor? That was, 12 rounds. Depending on how long the losers go, it could be 20, 30 rounds before Danny gets back. So how much does fatigue play a role if he's able to make it all the way back to the grand finals, whereas Ian's going to be able to rest this whole time?
Again, we get back to the, I think some people would like to keep playing, especially if you're on the loser side. That is an advantage. I think they both have their things. Obviously, it's better to be up a whole set in the winner side and not have to worry about, because right now Danny's in single elimination like the rest of the participants here today. Ian has that buffer to where even if someone comes and beats him the first to 3 in the grand finals, they're now at a level playing field. So it is nice. If you've played fighting games, you know that we've played sets that run quite some time. So I think a couple more matches than that he has to play will be all right.
And you're talking about how strong G is. Is there any sort of counter pick that maybe whoever ends up taking on Ian could pick, or is it this? If you've gotten this far, you have a comfort pick, and you're just going to go with that, even if there's not a counter.
Yeah, no, G is a strong character, and there's many advantages and disadvantages. One of the things is that G has a very strong neutral game, but he lacks a lot of options for when he does get knocked down. If you can keep the pressure on him, it's very good for you.
I think while we get this next game up here, we're going to have an interview with Ian, who just advanced to the grand finals. So let's toss it over to that.
All right, that was really exciting, but it didn't go as easy as it looked like it was going to in the beginning. What was the change midway that made it a lot tougher match?
Well, Danny and I have played each other a lot over the years, and I think, not to put anything on, I guess, COVID per se, but we are pretty familiar with how each other plays, and I think it took Danny a little bit more time to kind of catch up to the muscle memory of playing against each other's play styles. In that matchup, his character is more defensive, so I kind of have less of a burden of knowledge going into it, right? But he started to pick up some good defensive habits that allowed him to punish some greedier plays, and I had to adapt.
So you're getting ready to go into the finals now. Have you decided who you're going to play?
Character-wise? No, absolutely not. That's a secret.
Okay, well, we'll send it back to you guys. That was a good semi.
Doc trying to get any information out to help the other competitors, but Ian was keeping it close to the vest there on what he's going to play.
Yeah, and Ian is known in our in the community, in the local community. He has quite a few alternate characters. G he uses quite a bit, but he also has a very good Balrog, very good Akuma. he can play quite a bit, and that makes it really hard to prepare for him because he can just pull any of those out and play a really solid game with them. While, you know, people like myself, I maybe have a backup. Some people might have a backup. I'm actually surprised we didn't see a Ryu from Danny there because he just got buffed. But yeah, he keeps it close to the chest for good reason.
I was going to say that would bring up a question that we can get to after this matchup, but why don't you set the scene here as we get ready to go?
So Pencil versus Moo and Bison versus E Honda, both classic characters of the game. Bison has a lot of plus frames, which I'll say a lot, which means it's usually his turn even if the opponent blocks. But Honda has his hands and a lot of kind of more, I would call it scummy options like this, but a great punish there, like the sumo headbutt. Honda has an invincible reversal, which I'm sure we'll see because it's how Moo knocked me to losers the first time earlier in the tournament.
Not bitter at anything, though.
No, not at all. I'm extremely bitter. So that right there, Psycho Axe, very plus, and Pencil coming from Tekken, but showing that he knows how to play the corner game of Street Fighter V very well.
What's the history between these two competitors?
I'm not sure if much.
So you said one of them came from Tekken, so I guess maybe he hasn't seen much of the Street Fighter community.
Yeah, so hands there from Honda, that was plus. A whiffed command grab, though. Double dash up throw. And those dashes you can easily check with buttons because you are prone to, you can't block if you're dashing. Great conversion there from Pencil. And in this position right here, Bison is historically in this game had such a good advantage because he has these ridiculous frame traps, plus frames, to where you're tempted to push a button to get out of it, but it's still Bison's turn. And if you do throw one out, you'll get counter hit.
Think we'll see any changes here for our second match?
I'm not sure. I know as long as I've known Moo, he's played Honda, and he's definitely a character loyalist. But Honda's a strong character. Like if he gets going, he's hard to stop and has some tools of his own. Command grab here, the sumo throw. But it will be interesting to see if Moo has done his homework to see where the gaps in Bison's pressure are, because although they are few, they do exist. And if you're playing them, it's very important to know what those are so you can exploit them. EX scissor kick there. EX command grab. I think we're looking for Zach to activate here very soon, but he's not going to get the chance. Dash up, throw game in the corner.
Round 2. Fight.
I would also like to see probably at this spacing for the Honda to work on his install more, that V skill 2, make his hands a little better. Dash up throw. And now we're seeing like a solid amount of offense from the Honda player Moo. And I know that's a setup that Zach likes especially. He throws that, he does the EX ball out and then does the V skill 2. It's a left-right mix-up. If you're not ready for it, you'll get hit by one or the other. Good sweep activation, that's safe. Command grab, and this will be fun. Oh, but actually the V reversal gets the command grab grenade off of him, so no, doesn't have to worry about the pressure string anymore. Sweep there up close was extremely dangerous. Oh, that should have been a bigger punish. And that's the EX super headbutt we're looking at right there. That's one of those things where it's a big guess. It has one hit of armor, so if Bison sticks out a button, Honda's still going to go right through it. But yeah, right now we're 1-1.
I was going to say, it seems like I thought Bison had all the advantage. That was a good job by Honda sort of adapting in that second round.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think Zach did a really good job early. Good air-to-air there. I think Zach probably just needs to, Pencil just has to keep playing his game and just not fall into, he wants to stay up close against Honda because Honda's got a lot of moves from half full screen that are tough to deal with. EX scissor kicks there to keep him in the corner, that's good. And I like the throw here. And I love that throw even more And I would have done a third one as well. It was great offensive pressure there. Never want to get hit by the throw the third time, but I respect Pencil for trying. EX sumo throw. That could have been a punish, the light headbutt there. That was an amazing whiff punish on the Psycho Axe. Big crush counter, reset. Super headbutt to get out of the way. And here's that install. The next time he hits with his 100-hand slap, it's going to be, he's going to get a lot more out of it than he normally does. Stays on the same side this time. I really like that. Big plus frames there. Let's see. Bison's still in V trigger. And Honda's got his now. Good tech there from Honda. Unable to convert off the Psycho pressure, but goes for an up-close headbutt. Plenty close enough for Bison to punish, and just like that, we're 1-1.
And now that this is losers, and you're on to your last chance, is there any sort of out of thin air play you can make, or do these guys know everything that they could do that it's just going to be about better timing your combos and your grabs?
I think at this point, I mean, they seem to be going pretty quick. If they didn't know the information that they needed to know before this, like I would expect them to go to character select, maybe whip out the phone, look up some information real quick. But I know that Pencil, the Bison player, I know that he's been getting ready for Honda, so I think he should know everything he needs to. And great pressure there. Great pressure string there, but great drop blocking from Honda. Oh, and he does it again. That is scumbaggery if I've ever seen it. Goes for the wake up EX, gets blocked, does it immediately again when it shouldn't be his turn. And, I got clipped by 2 of those. I know the feeling.
Still salty.
Yeah. And even in this pressure string, you can see that's one of the great parts about Bison is all of his moves, like a lot of his moves are forward moving. So even on block, he gets his opponent closer to the corner, and the corner is huge in Street Fighter V. That teleport there is Bison's V skill 2. I can't believe that didn't get unchecked, or that went by unchecked. Ooh. And that should have been a bigger punish from Zach. That's a drop punish there. But good job there. Throw should do it. Just like that, we're at a round apiece.
Your final round.
I believe the Bison player is up 2-1 in the series. Not sure though.
You can totally. You might be correct. V reversal there to get the pressure off. Super headbutt going through the EX ball there. Nice conversion. And now you can see the Honda player taking a lot of liberties and a lot of momentum. And there's the stun. No bar though, I don't think this kills. I'm looking for a sweep activate here from Bison. There we go. Good combo there. Next hit will do it. That is a brave move there, V-shifting on the Honda player, so now he doesn't have access to the safe activation, but then gets him with the point-blank headbutt, which,
Honda wins.
if that's not Honda play, I don't know what is.
Now Bison's on he's down 2-1 in the series. How much pressure's on him now knowing that this could be his last couple of rounds?
I think the pressure's there for sure, and that's definitely one of the things about playing, online versus in tournament, and especially at an in-person tournament. This is the, first time any of us have done this in over a year, so you definitely know, like, your heart rate's going a little faster, but, you've done these combos and understand the spacing. You've done these thousands of times. So the good part is the muscle memory's there. A great punish there from Bison. Very clean round from Pencil there. Never let Honda get a chance to get going. Big plus frames. The get off me headbutt. Still Bison's turn there. +2. I like that. That was not so much a call out, but a good reaction. But again, Pencil going straight back to the abusive dictator's pressure in the corner. Nice jump out though. Yeah, and Bison's looking to activate here. And how dare you walk into my face when you're that close? I'll just back throw you into the corner.
And Bison wins.
And that is...
I think that's going to do it.
That's it. 3-2, 3-1?
I think 3-2.
3-2. Yeah, so that one came down to the wire, but Pencil doing a great job sticking to his strengths. Again, like I said, every character, the roster's over, I can't even remember how many it is at this point, but, every character's got their strengths. All the characters here, for the most part, are good. Zangief is probably the weakest by far, just because you have to guess a lot, both on offense and defense, which, say what you will about gameplay, but G is very strong. Bison is very strong. Honda's good in his own right, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Danny chooses to play against Bison. I think Zangief probably does a little bit better because Bison's limbs, his buttons, aren't quite as long as G's, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, that was going to be the question I was going to ask you. I mean, if you want to get into this and be serious at it, I mean, is it pick one champion and just sort of one trick that champion and know what the insides and out? I mean, you were mentioning how, Ian has a more of a expanded pool. So what is the better strat? Get good at a bunch or get really, really good at just one?
I think people ask this all the time when they get into fighting games, like, which character should I play? Well, a lot of people will say, well, pick whichever one looks coolest, because you're not going to want to learn someone, even if they're good, if you don't think that they're cool to play. But I think it definitely helps to pick one character to get good at, because you start to see, you start to understand like game mechanics that way. You understand, different things. But as soon as you can, master that character, if you will, and then as soon as you can start comfortably playing other characters, that's when you can up your game even more and be like, okay, I know that this character likes it when this happens, so I'm going to try to make that not happen when I go back to my character. Is
there much counter play in a sense, or there's one champion that counters another one? I guess we get to that after this round as we're going to kick off here.
No, I think this is a button check. Making sure all the buttons are good. No, there definitely is. Certain characters do much better against other characters, and that's why when you get to the point where you can play multiple characters, you would like to pick a second character that kind of rounds out the weaknesses of your first, so that way you don't want to have two zoner characters, I guess, because if you play against someone that's comfortable with getting in against the zoner, then you're in trouble either way.
Yeah, and I was actually going to ask you that if we have time about just the, I guess controller selection is the best, way to describe it. You've got, the button board on the right and then more of the controller on the left. Is there one that's favored, or is it just kind of personal preference?
It's definitely personal preference. I know that there does exist some professional players that, depending on the character they use, they have different controllers, but it's all preference. Like, I use a fight stick myself, but I understand why people use pad. But here we go, starting off. Good offense from Bison. And great anti-air lariat there. Oof. Big SPD there. Get out of my skies, he says. Then we're gonna scoop you once more. Back throw for stun. Back throw again to build meter. It's hard against Zangief because he has very good anti-air options, and you're going to see this a lot. This kind of mechanic right here, where Zangief's slowly walking him down, and if you can get Zangief to move backwards, it's very good. But great V skill into EX SPD to scoop up any button that Bison was throwing out there. That V-shift mechanic again we talked about, good defensive selection. Keeping it up with, you know, Bison's plus frames. He's the dictator, he can do whatever he wants. Great job there with the EX ball and the Psycho Axe. Oh, that should, yep, that's a punish. And what's the guess here? Nice, ooh, unfortunately, I guess, unfortunately it missed, but fortunately Bison was able to get back in.
Final round.
Anything you see in here going to this final round of match 1 that favors either side?
Say again, sorry?
I said, you see anything in those first 2 rounds that maybe favor someone here in this 3rd round of match 1?
It looks like we're having some technical difficulties. One second, sorry. I get, yeah, technical difficulties, some controller malfunction here. But I guess one of, to get back to your question, I saw really good offense there from Pencil. It's just, again, if Zangief gets one screw pile driver on you, the game becomes a guess because on wake up your options are limited. He can get right up in your grill and you don't know if he's going to do another one, if he's going to throw out a button. It does a lot of damage. It hurts to guess wrong. So I think that's one of the complaints that a lot of people have with Zangief as a character, is that, you know, it's a matter of guessing instead of rewarding good play. Not saying that he doesn't, but it's, you know, if you could be winning the whole, you can be dominating the whole round, and he catches you once, and then, you know, it can start something that you don't like to see.
Looks like we've maybe figured out the technical difficulties.
I hope so.
Oh, guess not.
Guess not.
And then that was my question I was going to have as a follow-up as we wait for the loser finals here to wrap up is, do you think either of these players has a better matchup into Ian in the Winter Grands Finals? I mean, we saw him and Danny go, and it was a 3-1 for Ian. Do you think that's a better matchup, or do you think Bison might have a better play there if he ends up making it to Grand Finals?
I'm actually not sure. We haven't had a Bison in like our community for a while, and I'm very happy that Pencil's in there, because he's a popular character. You see him a lot on the online ladder, so it's nice to have someone locally that you can practice with that is willing to explain to you the things. But again, it is one of those characters you see quite a bit, very popular. There was an EVO winner who played Bison, Problem X. So, and he's been around since season 1. I don't know if I think at this point all of these guys have played each other enough to where some of it is playing the character, but a lot of it is playing the person, which is another thing in fighting games that is it's something you got to think about. Online, you can play the character, but picking up the habits and the play styles of other characters, that definitely plays almost a larger role than the characters themselves.
We got the technical difficulties, so we'll get right back to it.
That's not sure how that counter hit came out, but EX Air SPD, this is guess for game right here. Ooh, that wasn't an optimal punish, but we take those. And then does the EX running bear grab to armor through the heavy kick from Bison in the corner, and that is first round to Zangief, Danny Umehara. And they're just going to take that as the last round, the round 3 from the previous game. So that's game 1 to Mr. Umehara, going back to character select.
No change though. They're pretty much all these we've seen are pretty much set in what they want to play.
Exactly, and again, sometimes it's nice to go back to character select just to exhale, just to especially if one round goes a little hotter than the other. It's nice to just take a second, collect yourself. I'm a big fan of that. big crush counter there from Zangief with the heavy punch. Nice interrupt there. And you can see Bison too with that two-hit combo he's doing there with the Psycho Axe and the ball. He's getting a lot of chip damage in on Zangief. But this is where you don't want to be against Zangief, but a good job. The anti-air gets stuffed there. A good jump in. That was an amazing V-skill 2 from Bison to go around. And great job teching the throw, but he's going to catch him with the stun, and that was a great offensive round from Pencil on Bison. Showing life.
Saw that in the other match where no one won 2 games in a row. These players seem to learn each other what they want to do pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if Pencil has a lot of Zangief experience, but he seems to be picking up pretty quickly. I like how he's very, very good punish there on the whiffed SPD. He's playing good. And one of the things that I think is important against Zangief is you don't want him to play his game. You want to play your game. Because if you start playing his guess-up game, then his mix-up game, then it becomes very difficult and very punishing. Great dash-up EX SPD there. Oh, that should have been a sweet punish at the very least. He's looking for an activate here, though. There we go, making that sweep safe. And what was that? EX head stomp to get him air to air. It's great. And now we're at 1 round apiece. I love it.
Do you think we'll see Bison carry that momentum into the next round, or do you think we'll see the Zangief get the win like we saw in the first round?
I couldn't tell you. I know that even though Pencil, the Bison player, is new at Street Fighter, he definitely knows what he's doing in fighting games. He's a very good, very accomplished Tekken 7 player, very smart, knows how to make adjustments. So I think I'm very excited because I think at this point it's up in the air. Next hit stun here for Bison. And not quite the kill, but I don't know if I agree with spending the meter there, especially with no V-trigger to potentially get yourself coming back in this round. Meter management becomes important in sets because the EX bar carries over from round to round, so you never know what can get you started, but sometimes, you know, you want to just call it and, you know, try to save more resources for the next round. And speaking of which, we got a full stick of butter here on Zangief. So I wouldn't be surprised if a dash up super comes out. Back throw, back in the corner, he says. And this is where it becomes scary against playing against Zangief, because anytime, high-low. Because when he has resources like that, when he has that meter, you never know when a super fast, the normal SPD comes out at a pretty reactable rate. It can still surprise you, but the EX SPD comes out extremely fast. So,
Round 1.
Do you think Pencil has an advantage because he's newer to the community? So I mean, you guys talk about how you play each other all the time. Do you think that maybe has a little bit of an advantage for him, where he's more unpredictable in a sense?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, it's not knowing. I think yes and no. Like it becomes like, yeah, you don't know what they're gonna do, but also you're not quite sure what the other person's gonna do. But this is, you know, you're not playing like next level mind games either. It's just, you know, you're kind of playing the character straight up. Good backdash there to get out of the throw pressure. I like the spacing on the legs there as well, the scissor kick. Ooh, and a nice interrupt there on the B skill. That was a very nice sequence from Bison. Good anti-air to get out of the Devil's Reverse. Here comes the activate. Activate right back. And that'll be the round.
Zangief now 1 round away from grand finals.
That he is. That's still plus, Danny. Nice V skill 2 there. V skill 2 that Zangief's doing does give him 1 hit of armor, but nice air SPD there. We have the EX on the ground. Here comes the mix. SPD. No. Goes for the regular combo. Pencil should be activating here. And we're getting very close for Zangief. It's going to take quite a bit. And then the jumping heavy kick, neutral jump.
So with Danny back in the grand final, we started out with him and Ian playing in the winners finals, and he lost. What changes do you think he needs to make if he wants to take this? And I know Ian was kind of playing close to the belt on the selection that he was going to make. Do you think he'll just bring it back to G now that he knows it's the same opponent?
I definitely think so. I don't think that there's a reason, especially because I know Ian quite well. I don't. He's gonna be of the opinion of make me change characters, like make me try to play something else. He has a lot of rounds to work with. He could drop 3 straight, and then that's when he can start playing for real. So maybe he wants to try something else out, like a little shock value to get him, to get him the first round or so, but. Who knows? And again, all of his characters are pretty strong, like good, solid characters, and he's good with them.
And what about for Danny? I mean, do you think it's going to be Zangief, or do you think there's anything he can do? Because I mean, like you said, he's got to win the first round, and then he's got to win a whole nother round since it is the double elimination in the grand finals, and he's coming from the loser bracket. I mean, is there anything he can do to maybe steal a round or two in this first one?
I definitely think it is. And again, for people that aren't familiar, Zangief, and you saw it there, like one grab can really get that momentum, because as soon as you get that first grab, then it becomes a guess, and then if the guess goes wrong from there, suddenly your stun bar is at 80%, and then the next hit stuns, and then the round just disappears right before your eyes. So I'm not sure. I know that Danny's other character, Ryu, the flagship Street Fighter character, he got some major love in the recent patch. Quite a good character. I don't know if we'll see him though. I don't know how much Danny's been working on him, but I think it'll be interesting because again, Danny has some room to work with. He has a couple of rounds if he wants to try fishing it out with Zangief again, but we'll see. He likes the character and he's good with him, so.
Yeah, I mean, both these players are in the grand finals here of our first game in the beatdown, so clearly some of the best that the Idaho Street Fighter community has to offer. We saw each other's if you meet in the winners finals and then the winners grand finals, you're usually pretty much at the top of your game, right?
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
And it looks like we'll see.
Trying to get confirmation from the TO.
Double checking if there's a reset.
Yeah, and they're good to go. Yeah, so they're just confirming that if Danny beats him 3 sets, will he be able, then it resets the bracket and they go again for keeps this time, I guess is the appropriate way. So Ian has to win 3. If Ian wins 3, then he's the winner. And if Danny wins 3, then he's got to win 3 more.
And that feels like a ton of pressure when you've got to win 3 and then you've got to win 3 more again because, I mean, as you mentioned, Ian's got some playroom to say, okay, you know what, I can kind of figure things out. I mean, they've played before, as you mentioned, so he pretty much knows everything he wants to do.
Yeah, exactly. But there's been multiple examples in professional Street Fighter tournaments where, the reverse sweep, where someone comes out of losers, like a bat out of hell, and has that momentum going, has a couple fresh wins under their belt, and then suddenly it's hard for the person on the winner's side to stop that momentum. Here we have a big EX SPD coming out. Neutral jump from Ian, anti-air lariated. Ooh, tries to go on reaction there, but that will not beat an EX low. Did not need to spend bar there, but good backdash in the corner to escape the command grow. Gets the punish. First round, Mr. Umahara.
Nice win by him, but still a long way to go.
Amazing whip punish there from Ian. You saw Zangief throwing out a big long button, and G was spaced out just enough to where as the punch was drawing back, he was able to punish it. But a jump in SPD here from Zangief. That's punish, and he's spinning the bar here, cashing it out. And taking the level up as well. That's something I didn't explain earlier. G has a install level up system. Great reaction to the fireball there. Reset. And Ian doesn't want any of that pressure. And he's going to get a throw for his trouble though. But G has different levels that power up his special moves, like the wheel kicks in the air that you see and the highs and lows. But just a clean way to finish out the round there after taking that V-trigger mix-up, that pressure. It was another great crush counter there. Wake up sweep from Danny. And good job there breaking that first hit of armor and then comboing into the dash punch. Back throw into the corner. And G is just so hard to deal with in V-trigger. He's going to get a lot out of this one after that command throw. Ooh, that was pretty gross. And then just jump forward SPD. Ian's looking around asking if anyone else saw that. The scumbaggery. But you asked, Danny delivered first round, their first game.
Yeah, that was a nice little showing there, and I think maybe speaks to what we kind of debated about, you know, get hot coming out of losers and get a little bit to sort of realize what went wrong in their winners match.
And especially with command throw characters, and both of these, Zangief is definitely a grappler, and G's got a good kit to go with his. A lot of it's about confidence, like knowing what, like, you know, just knowing in your deep down in your bones that they're not ready for this throw and that you're going to surprise them. Both these guys think that they always have that, but you know, that was a great whiff punish there from Ian. Great anti-air. But immediately followed up by another jump in. Probably not what you expect, because, you know, if you keep getting hit out of the air, you're expecting the person not to, if you keep hitting someone else out of the air, you're expecting that person not to jump in again. But Danny going immediately. Great fuzzy guard, but unfortunately blocks it out. Raw activate. Oh, great check from Ian. But it's not going to be enough.
I like what Danny's done here in the first couple rounds.
Yeah, he's coming out strong. And yeah, you're going to see that again. This spacing should become pretty familiar, because this is especially where G wants to be. He's going to be keeping Zangief out with that, you know, standing medium kick, down heavy punch, stuff like that. Very good range buttons. And also, at a farther range, it gives you more time to react to someone's jump in, so you can anti-air him. Great neutral jump. It's not going to be quite enough, but he is going to get a level up for his troubles, and G's level 3 fireballs are not to be trifled with.
Final round.
Another game 3 here. Last time Danny picked up the other one in round 1.
Big crush counter. Oh, unable to convert, but a poor punish from Danny there. Nice use of the armor there. Ooh, goes immediately for the EX SPD. Gets stuffed. Ian dropping a combo though. Oh, could have been whiffed there. I think Danny was smart not pushing a button there. Normally that's punishable, but I don't think Zangief has a button at that range, because that's something that's a lot in Street Fighter V. Great interrupt from Ian there. That was kind of disrespectful, but yeah, yeah, you teach that man a lesson, Danny. He doesn't get that for free. Danny expecting the high. Yeah, there we go. At that range, he can get the running bear grab while Ian's trying to level up, because you do have to let that animation finish. But just like that, we're 2-0.
Now we're one game from the bracket reset here.
Yeah, and I don't know if Ian will change yet or if he'll ride it out with G. It looks like he's choosing to do that.
Fight.
Hopefully he's not already thinking about the reset, just because, you know, there's no reason that he can't come back and take 3 straight off of him. Get in the corner, son. And Danny's been doing a great job of sniffing out that command grab with that V skill and getting a good punish on it. DX slow activation, tail as old as time. You gotta watch your head, son. Zangief is a big enough character. He's tall enough on the screen to where G can do that move in V-trigger where you can jump and do that orb around him, and if your character's tall enough, you'll catch him high. Something called a fuzzy in the fighting game community. It's extremely difficult to explain, but just know that he caught him high.
It's like G's activated a little bit here now that he knows he might have to get the bracket reset.
Yeah, and then again, he did a great job in that round, but all of a sudden you get SPD'd once, and he's doing a good job of maintaining that spacing. Great job on the whiff punish. And that was a great defensive sequence by Zangief. Taking that pressure, avoiding it, closing the distance until he could find an opportunity that he wanted, and suddenly he's back in the driver's seat at the other end of the map. Amazing, amazing read there. Reading that Ian was going to jump, immediately ready with that air SPD. Something that a lot of Zangief players are familiar with, because to get out of the command grab, they want to jump. You want to jump, so Zangief has an air command grab, so it's all about figuring out when, you know, knowing when your opponent's going to jump and when they aren't, and if you're ready for it. Yeah, Danny looks a lot more calm in this match than he did the first time in the winners finals. He's playing very smooth. He's not doing anything crazy. It's like Ian's falling into his buttons.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it felt like Danny was a lot more confident in this one. It felt like in the first match we saw in the winners finals that once it got away from him, it was kind of all over. And now we get the bracket reset, and that was pretty quick.
Set. And we're going back to character select.
Think that.
Was that 2 or 3?
I think that was 3.
3. That was 3, yeah.
So we get the reset.
Get the reset back to character select. Ian's going to Boxer, aka Balrog.
Who do you think has more pressure now that we've reset the bracket? Ian, because he just got 3-0 in the first one, or Danny because he played so well and now he's got to keep it up because he has to come from losers and has to get those 2 wins?
I think the pressure's equally there. I think Danny probably feels pretty good about himself that he's making Ian change characters, but Balrog, an extremely good character. Very, very incredible ground game. He uses a lot of these dash punches like you saw right there. He can space them out so they're safe. Has incredible anti-airs. The one thing he does not have, he doesn't have a cross-up, so he can't jump over Zangief and hit him from behind, but yeah, he's very good at keeping a good spacing and has incredible pressure, especially in the corner. But just like that, I think we're going to be looking for it. Yep, ain't getting away. So now Balrog also has a command grab. Yeah, and it's on display right there. Just say the word, I guess. No caster's curse here.
Not yet.
But that's something that Balrog only gets when he's in that V-Trigger 2 and that activated state. Choosing to go with V-Trigger, or V-Skill 1 too, which is the kind of, you'll see it, that spin right there that he does. It allows him to, you know, close the distance. Also allows him to do some cheeky mix-ups like this, because he can do an overhead attack out of it. He can do a regular punch, and he can also just do nothing and throw you. Nice punish there on that, sniffing out that V skill. That EX dash punch is plus on block, which means even if you block it, it's still Balrog's turn. So if you try to hit a button, you'll get counter hit. Oh, I cannot believe that hit, actually. Reset. Yeah, and that was a very nice, safe defensive option from Ian, using that V skill to get out of the potential command grab. And when I say reset, I mean that there's combos, you can see them on the screen when they go up, but the more moves that you do in a combo, the less damage each individual move does. So there's certain things you can do in the game to reset someone, which puts them back in a standing state. And if they're not paying attention, then they can get hit again or thrown or what have you. Brave wake-up button there from Ian, but gets the counter hit. Balrog likes playing in this range. He's got a really good kit to keep you in the corner. Danny reading jump there, but Balrog is plenty comfortable staying on the ground. Yeah, EX dash in plus goes for another command grab, but you know, gets stuffed for his troubles. EX air SPD. If this isn't game, it's the guess right here. And I'm not sure what Ian was thinking there, but Danny manages to catch him with a naked back throw, so. Goes for the overhead there. Fun fact about Balrog, even his kick buttons are punches. Oh, on it, missed anti-air there from Ian. I saw it coming out, but unfortunately it didn't connect. But he's in a rough spot. I like the V reversal there, but now Ian's got corner pressure. And nice job there. One more guess here. Oh, love that. I think we've all played, we've all played enough games to know what that's called. But flexing on him a little bit, which is funny considering he just got 3-0 reset.
That's just sad,
but
man.
you got to put the man in his place sometimes.
Take those on match point, not when there's still a chance for him to come back.
Yeah, you really don't want to throw this game away after something like that, though. Good spacing, and yeah, that's incredible. Ian spaced that dash low in a way that even after he recovered, that move would have hit him if he was close to that super. And then here he is back in again. Ian feeling himself a little bit here. Showing us that the Tango Bravo was, that he wasn't playing. He actually, he knew what he was doing.
What do you think Ian learned after that quick 3-0 reset? Because he swapped over to Balrog, and I mean, Zangief at least got one match there, but it's been pretty dominating in the first two matches of this last match.
I think he just wants to have someone that keeps the pressure on a little more. He has some better frame traps, which is different things that on block that bait your opponent into pushing a button, and if they do, they get counter hit. So Balrog's got a lot more pressure. Danny's actually changing to Chun-Li, which another Street Fighter classic character. Chun-Li very strong, really good range on her buttons, has an invincible reversal in her EX spinning bird kick. Great, she can challenge him at range with her standing heavy punch. Which is that kind of lunging punch that you saw him do, or her do right there. She also has quite a better walk speed, but right now he's just, he's living in a place that we like to call Duff City. There's a good tech there on the throw. Next hit should stun. Or you can just get thrown.
Yeah, that swap not looking like it paid off there that first round.
Yeah, it's you know, sometimes it's definitely worth a try, but good job with the loan to EX Lightning Legs. She gets a lot of pressure off that knockdown. Goes for the overhead. Ian ready for it that time. Unable to convert more off that. Back throw. And again, ready with the check low. Trying to dash up throw. Good check from Ian. But there's the stun. Took him around to get acclimated, but it seems like he's ready now.
Still match point for Ian, though, in our grand finals.
He's got one. That is a big part of Chun-Li's kick, is that crouching kick there into her legs. The EX, she gets a lot of advantage for a lot of good Oki, a lot of good pressure. And this is going to be big. Ian choosing to go the EX low there so we could get neutral jump pressure. And this should be next hit overhead. Wow, Ian held all of that in check. That was quite impressive. That was all a true pressure string, and you know, some lesser men might have pushed the buttons trying to interrupt there, but you know, Ian knows what he's doing. He's a very solid fundamental player. He does play some command grab characters, and that kind of gets him away with some stuff, but he knows how to respect pressure strings, and you know, there's a reason that he, you know, almost a clean sheet.
Yeah, a little hiccup there in the first match of the grand finals, but he got over it pretty quickly. So I mean, just like that, it's over. I mean, well, what are your takeaways for what we saw?
It was just very nice to be. It was very nice to be back in person, even though we're distanced. Even though I'm not playing, I'm casting. But
That's
it is
probably
just
the part you're more upset about.
It's nice to see, you know, the light at the end of this tunnel. Because in a game where a 60th of one frame, a 60th of a second can mean the difference between your combo dropping and you interrupting. Offline is really the way to play fighting games, so it's just nice to be able to get back and compete in this gorgeous arena, no less. You know, it's nice. I really liked what I saw from Pencil. He did for his first, you know, Street Fighter tournament that he's actually been playing, he did a really solid job on Bison. I saw a lot of great things that I liked out of him. And it's, you know, it's without having the local tournaments to look forward to, some people aren't as in practice as they should be. I thought, I mean, I'm less in practice than all these guys apparently. So, but you know, it's nice. Ian looked good, but I play him like every night, so it's not surprising.
Wow.
You would think with how much I lost, right? I said earlier, you think with how much he beats me, I'd be better, but you know.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it when we came in, Draco. You were the last man out, and that's why you're on the casting desk and not down there. But well, let's go with an interview down to our winner. I think Doc's ready to go, talking down there to Ian. So let's hear from our Street Fighter V champion.
All right, I'm here with Ian, and heavy is the head that wears the crown. You are now the reigning champion of the first beatdown, specifically Street Fighter. Now that you have this mantle of being the best, how will you govern?
Well, Street Fighter V is a game that a lot of us love, but is rather divisive in the community, and is kind of on its way out. I think if I were to think of a way to use my newfound influence of my mantle, it would be to probably move forward and get the community really re-energized and re-engaged for the new games that are coming out this year, potential events that we can come together and do, you know, once COVID maybe backs off a little bit. In terms of Street Fighter V, I'm just happy to win.
Okay, so let's look past Street Fighter. What games on the horizon that are not here today, what games excite you? Could we see a Bo Jackson style movement from one primary sport to a second? Could you be a two-sport athlete, as it were? And what would it be?
Well, to answer the first question, in June, I believe, the new Guilty Gear game is going to be coming out, Guilty Gear Strive, which I think a lot of us in the community are very excited about. I really hope, personally, that a lot of us will flock to that game and play it, and we'll have really good competition going. I would say, the competition for fighting games recently is probably waning, since in-person competition is what drives a lot of the player drive to get better. In terms of can you person be a two-sport player, a two fighting game player? Absolutely. Back when we were doing the events regularly, that was very common.
Okay, well, the king is here. He'll be signing autographs in the next little bit. I believe we have another game coming. We'll head back to the desk. Thanks, guys.
Well, I'm going to wrap this one up, Draco, with you asking me, with what Doc just did to Ian's ego, how are you going to handle that going forward? Because you said you have to scrim him every night, and Doc just, I'm surprised it even fits in the arena at this point.
See, I don't know if he's being actually humble or if he's just throwing shade on the rest of us. Ian has definitely won multiple fights. He was a really good Dragon Ball FighterZ player. We're going to see that game later tonight. He is good, but again, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You learn from your mistakes, and it's nice having a community where you can find people to play and get better. And it's it's called the fighting game community for a reason. And again, like he said, and like we're all saying here, it's just nice. It's just nice to be back.
Well, and I hope we do have you guys back again, Draco. I hope you're not up here with me. I hope you're actually down there. So that would be a pleasure. But as we said, we still got more to go. So we're going to take a break and we'll be back with more beatdown action.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure. Legendary parts for legendary wins. Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure. Legendary parts for legendary wins. Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure. legendary parts for legendary wins.
I have to be honest, I was a little bit nervous that you wouldn't.
Hello and welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. On to our second match of the night here in the beatdown. It is time for Tekken 7. I am Michael Fisher once again. But of course, when Tekken's so important, we're joined by none other than the Presidente himself to call all the action. When you know the president's involved, I mean, that means it clearly has to be the most important event, right?
Tekken's a big game. It's a very, very exciting game at the moment. It's a big game about big buttons and bigger punishes. So wherein in Street Fighter you saw people walking back and forth a lot, you saw a lot of that neutral game, as we like to call it. Tekken, you're going to see people hitting each other a lot of blocking going on, and then when you mess up, it's going to be half your life bar gone. That's just how the game rolls. We're going to see how it's going. I'm excited for this. First up, we have Mura and Pencil. Pencil we saw in the last tournament playing exceptionally well.
Yeah, same format as we saw last time. We'll have the 4 matches, winners finals, losers semis, losers finals, and then winners grand finals. As you can see there on the screen, pretty much everything that we went through with Street Fighter. So, I mean, for Street Fighter, we saw winners finals, ended up being winners grand finals. Are you expecting that result here in Tekken, or do you think somebody maybe can sneak one out of losers and get into winners grands?
I think we might see a bit of sneaking going on here. Our online bracket for this game was interesting. It was explosive, so I'm super excited to see what you can do without the online delay.
Yeah, how many people did you guys have in the online bracket for this one?
We had 8 people in the online bracket for this one, so pretty good turnout overall for the first run of this event.
I was going to say, because I know that, I mean, Draco was talking about it, other guys were talking, I mean, just how different it is to try and do everything online. I mean, with, you know, the lag. I mean, any gamer will tell you about lag, but I feel like in a fighting game, it's absolutely more paramount. Like, I would have no fun if you know, my internet connection is not great. I mean, I feel like that could really hurt, you know, especially a game like this where it's so technical. And as you said, a 60th of a frame could be the difference between winning and losing. Yeah,
you heard Draco talking about those numbers, -2, +1, +4. That's all in frames, so that's 60th of a second. So the most minute timing matters a lot, and we're hopping into the first game here. I'm excited. A difference between Tekken and Street Fighter is that the stage matters a lot. So in Street Fighter, it didn't matter. Each stage is exactly the same. It's just a backdrop. In Tekken, that is not the case. You have different shapes of arenas. You have different walls. You can break walls and floors to extend your combos.
And are we looking at the same in Street Fighter in a sense where we're going to see a lot of one character guys up here, or do you think we might see a little bit more variation than we saw in Street Fighter where we only saw really 1 or 2 swaps?
So Tekken is an interesting case. If you know multiple characters in Tekken, you're going to be an extremely powerful player. But Tekken, where in Street Fighter, you have 6 buttons to play with plus a handful of special moves. In Tekken, characters can have hundreds of moves, all unique from one another.
And how do you deal with that?
You just got to know. You got to know what's good. Eventually, it just becomes muscle memory. You don't even think about it.
That's incredible. 100
Hopping
buttons.
Into the first match here. So you can see there's going to be a lot of this back and forth. You're going to see a block. Someone responds.
Are we going to have that like turn base that we were talking about earlier where it's someone's turn then you have to respond in Tekken?
Very, very much so. So, see, the first round's over like that.
Round 2. Fight.
And we're moving on to round 2 here. See, this is how Tekken is.
Looks like
we're having some difficulties here. That's all right. We're just going to restart. Yeah, Tekken is a game where everything you do matters. If you are one step out of line, you're going to get blown up.
They had to fix the number of rounds, so.
Yeah, we're figuring that out. Street Fighter is played 2 out of 3 rounds in a game. Tekken is usually played 3 out of 5. So that got mixed up in there somewhere, but that's all right.
So is it 3 out of 5 and then still best out of 3 overall?
Yes, that's the way it works.
That is a lot more just continuous fighting than it is in Street Fighter, and that's one of those things we're talking about with just fatigue. I feel like after a while could really play a role for some people. Maybe for me at least it would play a role. Maybe not for these guys.
That's a major thing in fighting game tournaments, the bigger ones where people play for weekends at a time, where you can really, really get tired of running the same scenarios over again. And here we go back into a proper match. Big unblockable coming out already. Looks like we're doing a button check.
Round 2. Fight.
Here we go. They're just giving him that one round.
Yeah, resetting the round.
Back in it. Tekken is a game. In Street Fighter, we were talking a lot about the different bars and meters that were in the game. Tekken is not a game that has that. As you can see, the only bars on screen are the health bars. The only resource you necessarily have to worry about in that orange section of the life bar towards the very center of the screen, once you get to low life, you have access to new moves called Rage. So this is this game's version of a super move.
Maybe a little bit better if you get to low life than we saw in Street Fighter.
Maybe. You can see here, Mura's in Rage now, so their attacks are going to do a little more damage. But of course, the risk of being at low life is that you're always one hit away from being defeated. So we are on to game a point for Pencil, maybe, with his Paul.
Pencil feels like he's been, as I say it, pretty much in control of those first 2 matches.
A little bit, but, that's how Tekken goes sometimes. But as you can see, one combo and a little bit more removed most of his health bar. We're getting back into it. Big throw puts her against the wall. Here comes the Rage art. Ooh, and the big whiff. Ducks under it. Tekken is a game where the 3 dimensions add a lot to the ability to dodge different moves, which is not something you see in Street Fighter since it's a 2-dimensional game.
I know Draco mentioned that they added that sort of movement here, but Pencil picked up that round after a slow start, and once again, he's kind of just, at least for now, putting a ton of pressure on.
Yeah, like we were saying with the turns, it's always back and forth. This is where knowledge of each attack really, really comes in. You got to know when your opponent's turn is over, because if you don't know that, they're going to take it right back and just keep the pressure on. Big combo starter here, that low coming out, catching by surprise, up against the corner. Like we were saying, these stages really, really help certain characters extend combos, keep things going. There's the throw break, swapping sides, which is actually a very big deal in Tekken. In Street Fighter, other 2D games, you're doing your motions, but overall, doesn't matter too much. Tekken's control scheme is laterality based, so you actually have to completely invert everything that you're doing for your different moves. If you press back plus punch to do a move when you swap sides of the screen, you're doing all that mirrored. It can be very, very tricky to pick up for some people.
Yeah, it seems like the technical skill of Tekken is a lot potentially higher than Street Fighter, and just learning, as you said, the directionals and, when to hit your button.
I'll tell you, I've been trying to get into Tekken recently. It is a tough game to learn. Everything's so technical. You need to be very, very precise with your button inputs. They definitely didn't make it easy for beginners to get into this game, but it's still one of the most popular fighting games in the community and in the world, both competitively and casually. And the 3rd round of this game, going to Pencil.
Pencil One more round away from pick up another one. I mean, we saw him in the Street Fighter. I mean, is it more common to see somebody go from Tekken to Street Fighter as opposed to the other way around with, you mean, how technical Tekken is?
It's transitioning between any two fighting games is very, very tough. Even when we see the more similar games come out, you know, it's always different system mechanics. The moves are different. The character, even in between franchises, the characters are going to act slightly differently. But that can get really interesting sometimes in terms of how powerful a character is, in terms of how many people play them. And this isn't even restricted to within a franchise. Akuma, famously from Street Fighter, is actually a guest character in Tekken 7, and he brings over a lot of his two-dimensional Street Fighter gameplay into the 3D Tekken. I don't know if we have any Akuma players here today, but if we do, it'll be very, very interesting to see that. Ooh, and game 2 goes to Mura.
My pleasure.
Now, that was pretty quick turnaround, but I mean, you can see these players, I mean, just quick hit the rematch button and they're going to run it right back.
And we're right back into it. It's pretty even so far. Seems we're constantly going tit for tat. Even just within a round, you get a combo, I get a combo. Back against the wall. That is rough. A perfect to start out game 3.
Round 2.
How demoralizing is it to be perfected?
Here we see the back and forth. And in this game, all you need is one hit to really start going ham. It's an intense game.
Yeah. It does seem like the turns feel bigger in terms of how much health you can do on your turn.
Oh, absolutely. The reason Tekken plays this 3 out of 5 round format is actually because the rounds are so much quicker. They are so much more explosive. You know, if one tap at the start of the round can decide the entire round, then you should play more than one just to really suss out who's doing what.
The rounds feel a lot faster as well, coming from Street Fighter at least.
Again, Street Fighter can be a lot about very, very, not saying these things don't exist in Tekken, but very, very careful positioning, knowing the exact ranges of your moves and all of that. Tekken, you can kind of be in someone's grill. As you can see, that fast flurry of attacks coming out is fantastic. Up close pressure, it doesn't matter what kind of character you are, everyone's going to have some moves like that. Here we see the rage coming out, and it connects. This combo looks like it's going to kill. There we go. Pencil takes his first round in this game. Still on game point for Mura. Oh, big knee connect, starts a combo up against the wall into the corner. Looking pretty one-sided so far. Ouch. All right, we are even up in game 3, final round.
So that was a great turn by Pencil to start, and then he got it right back. It just seemed very one-sided. It doesn't seem like we've ever seen both of them on low health bars. It usually feels like one of these two players has kind of had a dominating start, and they just kind of ran with it.
One of them's winning the round, but that doesn't mean they'll win the next one. Here we see up against the wall. This is such a tough position to be in. You don't have anywhere to run. You just have to sit there and block and hope you can find an opportunity. And Street Fighter, we were talking about invincible moves, moves with armor. Those aren't nearly as common in Tekken. We've seen a few moves that can power through others with armor, but very few invincible, I just go through you moves exist in this game. And Mura picks up a second game here in this game 3. We are at set point.
Might. So yeah, looks like we're going to get the at least the return to the character screen is kind of for Pencil to see what goes wrong. Looks like he's actually going to end up switching.
Sets from Paul to Fang. Very, very interesting. Let's see where they end up on stage. Going with the random select. Fighting in a volcano is not OSHA approved, but you know what in this game is.
I mean, as long as I guess the volcano's not like erupting mid-match, we should be safe.
I think it does. I think it might.
Well, that adds even more intrigue.
Well, if you're already having some Jackie Chan like kung fu fighting on top, you might as well be on top of a volcano.
Round 1. Fight.
Do you think the swap's going to do anything for Pencil here?
I think it definitely has the potential to, even if swapping up characters, Pencil knows Feng's tricks a lot better than Mura's going to, just by nature of knowing how to play the character. But here we see a back and forth up against the wall. But Pencil still having a slight advantage, and right as I say it, you lose it. Keeping with the commentator's curse. Doesn't finish out the round. Ooh, that throw is gonna be the first round.
Round 2. Fight.
I mean, the thing that gets me is just how quick these rounds are over. I mean, I feel like I blink and somebody goes from full life to in the rage bar almost immediately.
Tekken is, like I was saying, very, very explosive, very complicated game. Every little bit of information you have over your opponent can matter a lot. And a dominant second round coming out.
Round 3.
There goes the eruption, and we have transition stages a little bit. You can see the walls are no longer around, so those wall combos are not going to be a factor anymore.
And do you think that plays into how they're going to play with the inability to have wall combos anymore?
It means you can play a lot more defensively. You can run away a lot more. Tekken is famous for having a technique known as the Korean backdash. And basically it lets you move backwards very, very quickly, very, very long distances. So the removal of walls from a stage means that you can keep going as long as you'd like. Makes characters with the bigger buttons much more powerful when it's not as easy to close that space. Here we see Mura taking it back a little bit. Let's see if he can transition this to a sweep to take the game. Pressure going on. Gets him with a little bit of plus frames.
Like the start for Mura.
Looking very dominant in this round. Rage is on the table, but it doesn't matter. Another perfect.
Final round.
This one.
Game 4. This is the last round of Game 4. And a dominant start from Mura already.
Oh, nice.
The punish, I don't know if that was unsafe or if it was an execution error, but man, these punishes get huge on the ground. This might be the end of the round. Not quite. Oh, there it is. Ouch. That's going to be 2-2.
Round 1.
This is set point.
Fight.
See a trade there, and that is transitioned by Pencil into a little bit of a lead here. Mura taking his turn back. We're going back and forth. The big low comes out in Tekken and Street Fighter. So as we saw, there are overhead moves and low moves that you have to block either high or low respectively. In Tekken, there's another type. You have to block low, mid, or high. So it takes a lot more attention and focus to block a move properly.
Yeah, I can see the not only like the physical fatigue, but the mental fatigue of playing multiple best of fives in a side of best of five. Does a nice job by Pencil to tie that one up. I mean, everything going on in Tekken is just mind-blowing to me of how many rounds these guys have to play.
It's all in the game. Now I've been playing some League recently, and I can feel fatigued playing one League game the last 30 minutes,
That's true.
But, I'm just as ready to hop into the next one after that.
All these. Nice job by Pencil there, at least for a little bit.
We see that back and forth. A big whiff punish coming out to close out that round. Very, very well done. We're going back to the Lava River a little bit here. This is set point. If Pencil wins this round, he will move on in the bracket. But, of course, right as I say that, Mura comes out with a big combo.
Oh, nice response by Pencil there for a little bit.
Ooh, see that same thing. Not sure exactly what move that is, but you step back and then you come back forward. congratulations to Pencil for winning this first game of our Tekken 7 finals.
Yeah, he'll go on to the grand finals. We'll have the loser semis, and then we'll see him again in the loser finals there, see if they can get back. That was a good response by Pencil to swap champions. I like that call by him to switch off of Paul and go to Fang there, because I think it was starting to lose it a little bit towards the end there with Paul.
A little bit. You know, Tekken, if you have 100 moves, that's 100 more moves for your opponent to know as well. So it's having a second character is very, very powerful, since even the slightest matchup experience is a lot of knowledge when it comes to Tekken.
I mean, and we talked about this a little bit in Street Fighter, but I mean, with how much more complex, I mean, you've described to me Tekken 7. I mean, what is Pencil going to be doing while he's waiting for grand finals? Is he going to be studying what he's seeing? Is he going to be focusing on his own improvements? What do you think he's going to be doing while we have these two matches in between?
I think the best strategy for Pencil here is to watch the matches and see what his prospective opponents are going to do. They just watch him, so it's only fair. He gets to watch them for twice as long, since they're in the loser's bracket already. They have to play 2 matches to get to him, so that's twice the amount of time that he gets to watch and study them.
And I mean, I know we heard within the Street Fighter community that these guys, you know, kind of scrim each other. They play each other a bunch. Is it same for the Tekken 7? Are these guys, I mean, so familiar with each other, or do we maybe have some new faces that might catch somebody off guard? So
everyone in our community, we play, well, before COVID, we would have monthly tournaments hosted over at ABU Games. And you know, we've been trying to stick together as a community since the start of COVID. So I'm sure these players know each other much, much better than they think they do if they've played even once before.
I mean, it is, you know, I mean, quite impressive how you guys have been able to stick together. You've been able to, I guess in quotes, survive. I mean, we're not quite through it yet, but the fact that you guys have been able to get back in person now that we, you know, able to be here with masks in the 6 feet. I mean, it is really cool to see that we've been able to bring it back. I mean, because I mean, there are times it felt like, you know, we'd be online forever, and then the fighting game community, as we heard about it, is one of those where being online isn't always the best thing, because you need the LAN to have everyone on the same connection.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, not only are fighting games so much more precise in timing than many other genres, but they also famously have much worse online services, which is somewhat ironic than a lot of other genres of games. So kind of those combined make a lot of games, especially ones developed by Japanese developers, just not an optimal online experience. Here we see Armor King versus Bob. Armor King is one of the closer characters to, say, Zengi from Street Fighter that rely a lot on those command throws, you know, mixing up your opponent, kind of the mind game aspect of things. And Bob is a pretty classical rushdown character. So I'm excited to see how this plays out.
And quickly, if you get a chance, why don't you tell us who's in our loser semis here?
In our losers semis, I will actually get back to you on that. Let me check the bracket real quick.
No worries. Oh, nice. There by Armor King. Oh, well, now he's in the rage. Gonna have that extra damage.
Ooh, here comes the rage art, but it is blocked. Super moves in fighting games tend to be very, very unsafe, very punishable if they're blocked. So sometimes using all your resources at the wrong time can lead to the end of a round. All right, here we have Protestant Sizzler Buffet. Actually, in the opposite order, Sizzler, I think, is the one playing Armor King, if I'm not mistaken.
That is a fantastic name.
Here we go. These two are going back and forth. Bob did manage to take the first round because of that drop with the rage art in the combo. But Armor King, again, right as I go to say it, loses his lead. Up close and personal, this is right where both of these characters like to be. And the second round goes to Sizzler.
This feels like a very back and forth match from the first couple rounds from what I've seen.
It is. Typically in fighting games, this doesn't just apply to Tekken or Street Fighter, but in most any fighting game, your rushdown characters, these are aggressive characters. They want to be in there. They have a lot of fast attacks. They're good at closing distance. They're good at that kind of stuff. And grapplers, they tend to be maybe a bit slower. They hit hard though, and they want to keep pressure on. So typically, rushdown characters have a very difficult time at the grapplers, and that's kind of what we're seeing here as Armor King has taken the 3rd round of this game as well. You see this combo might kill up against the wall. There it is. If you notice, this is a very, very small stage. You get up against the wall and maybe even just half a combo. You know, one bad backdash, one bad step can really, really impact your spacing on the stage. Here we see the throw into the wall. Misses some wake-up pressure with that drop kick. Surprise low coming out. Ouch, in the corner, this is gonna hurt. Rage is available, and this one looks like it hits. This is gonna be the round and the game. These moves do an insane amount of damage, and they're insanely flashy, as you just saw. Game 1 goes to Sizzler.
Nice response by Sizzler. I mean, at times it felt like he was a little bit behind in terms of the amount of damage on his turn, if you will, but you know what? He win round 1, and we already get a character reconsider, or at least maybe a button change.
And in fighting games, I mentioned this earlier, Draco did, I should say, but momentum is such an important factor. If you're feeling yourself or your opponent's a little bit shaken up, you know, that can transition a lot. So sometimes, even if you're not going to change a single thing, if you're not going to change what character you're playing, if you're not going to change what loadout you have, it's very, very practical thing to just go back to the character select scene, breathe a little bit, kind of think for a moment where you're not in a round or about to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also works in the sense that, you know, if your opponent's feeling himself, you kind of throw him off there by getting that pause, kind of makes him sort of reset as well. So I do like that. I don't know if I'll say, you know, technical aspect, but it is interesting to, you know, even if you're going to pick the same person as you mentioned, of, hey, you know what, let's just take about 10 seconds, maybe they let opponent cool off a little bit.
Maybe, and a big start here from Bob. That's a great move to throw out at the start of the round. It's fast and it covers a lot of space. One interesting thing about Tekken as compared to Street Fighter is you start the round much, much closer to your opponent than you did in Street Fighter. And a very, very rare thing for a character to have a move that can reach your opponent at the very start of the round in Street Fighter, but in Tekken, it's very, very commonplace.
That was a quick win from Bob.
Fight.
Very quick and dirty. Catches that combo, but gets woken up on. I heard Draco mention the term Oki, which is short for Okizeme. It's just the state of the game where one player is knocked down. They have very limited options, sometimes even just like which way they're going to roll when they get up. And so whoever's still standing, whoever has the advantage, has the opportunity to apply pressure, time an attack to right when they're going to be vulnerable when they get up, or try to psych them out by going for a mix-up. Very, very important part of fighting games, especially lots of modern, very aggressive fighting games where you're very, very rewarded for getting these knockdowns and keeping that pressure up. Here we see Rage is available, and for both players now, that's going to hurt and be a very clean game 2 going to Broadus.
Split the series at 1-1.
So far, our Tekken 7 bracket has been a lot less one-sided than our Street Fighter bracket. I'm super excited to see how this turns out. It could be anyone's game. And as per our Tekken 7 rule set, the loser does get to pick what stage they go to next, which can be a very, very important thing in determining how powerful your character can be. Certain characters are much better at exploiting different parts of the environment. So, you know, if there's a breakable floor and you have a move that slams people into the floor, that's an advantage over someone who maybe doesn't. Or if you're great at, if your combo will send someone flying across the stage, you maybe want a stage with walls so you can keep applying that pressure. It's a very, very important aspect of this game.
Yeah, this is when we went to the contained stage away from the more wide open one. Just where Armor King seemed to thrive in our first match on the smaller stage.
Fantastic pressure from Bob so far, just going all out. Ragear already trying to reset a little bit here, maybe get some pressure of his own. Definitely not going to kill. These moves don't do 80% of a life bar. They maybe do 30%. But here we see back to some neutral game, but it doesn't pan out for our Armor King player today.
Bob players definitely responded in incredible fashion after that first match where they lost.
Here we see starting to mount a comeback back against the wall. Big hit. I think the next hit from either player could very well kill. This Rage Art coming out does not land. Very, very important to land those moves.
I like the aggressive Rage Arc there from Armor King, though. He's landed a couple of them.
We're seeing it come out a little bit. I think that Protus is maybe getting in Sizzler's head a little bit here. You know, mind games are very, very important in fighting games. It's one of those things where if you mentally have a lock on your opponent, their strategy, what they're going to do next, it's almost impossible for them to do anything about it. It's almost like seeing the future.
Fortunately for Armor King, he just gets a little bit too far behind, and even when he lands the Rage, he's just not able to stage a comeback.
Well, that is our whole next game. Congratulations. I'm going to be right back. I think I need to go let someone in.
All right, get a quick check on that. Start preparing for our next one. So we'll go to our losers finals here in Tekken 7, part of the beatdown at Boise State. In Tekken 7 right now, we just had our Street Fighter 1 wrap up here. Fish and Presidente calling all the action. Of course, when you're the president, you got a lot of responsibility. So right now he's got to go make sure somebody can get in. We'll have our losers finals for Tekken 7 right around the corner here. See the stage randomizing in the background. Gonna get ready to hop right into it.
Come over here.
Now, round one. Fight.
All right, so sorry about that. We're getting into it. We have Mura versus versus Protus here.
Pretty even so far.
So far, we're seeing a lot more of this other side of Tekken where you're trying to make your opponent whiff a move, punish off that instead of taking turns. It all depends on what character you're playing. Some characters are going to be better at certain things. Very, very close round coming out here.
This seems a lot more, yeah, a little bit more feeling each other out here at the start as opposed to the all-in right off the get-go.
Well, that's what you have to do at the start of a... If you're not familiar with your opponent, this happens a lot in those bigger tournaments where maybe you're playing someone from another state, maybe even another country. You just have to adapt as quick as you can, and anything you know that they don't is going to help a lot. Of course, we're all one community here in Idaho and Eastern Oregon. But you know, not everyone's played each other still, even if we're a relatively small community.
Oh, I like the start here. Quite a bit of damage put onto Bob.
But Bob's pressure is coming out here. Bob was a character introduced in the last Tekken game, Tekken 6, and he was absolutely dominant in that game. They've toned him back a little bit for the 7th Tekken game, but he's still a very, very common sight in tournaments. Rage available for both players, and it does not matter. Bob picks up another round.
It feels like the Bob player is definitely really good at, you know, after he drops a round or two, adapting on the fly very quickly. We saw that in our loser semis where he dropped the first one and then responded pretty quickly, and he's doing it so far here.
So far, so good. That's so far been a real strength of Fraudus. I'm excited to see where that takes him in this bracket. A big combo coming out. One hit'll do it here. Ooh, big sidestep. That's a thing very, very unique to Tekken and other 3D fighters, is that you can move forward and backwards within the stage. So if your opponent's coming at you from the left, you can just step to the right, dodge that attack, and then you have a large window to launch a counterattack.
Oh, nice start there.
Here we see big, big combo. Tekken is such an exciting game to watch because you know that any one hit could completely change how a match is going. Big launcher going into the rage drive, into pressure. Ooh, did he press a button? No. Oh, but it's safe enough. Does not matter though. Fraudus picks up our next game. Going back to character select, it looks like?
Just stage select.
It's just stage select.
It seems like if this one has definitely been the closest match, and that one went all 5, and that was only round 1.
I'm excited to see where the rest of this goes. I kind of wonder, is Fraudus going to adapt all the way and get a complete lock on Mura here, or is maybe something else going to go on?
Oh, nice start there, Fraudus. It's a quick little round 1 win for him.
I have been embarrassingly informed that that's actually Sizzler, not Fraudus.
It's okay, it happens to the best of us. We're not going to judge you.
So basically anytime I've said Fraudus in the past 5 minutes, just replace that with Sizzler Buffet, and then we'll be all on track. We're good to go.
And it's like it never even happened. I mean, Bob looks like the kind of guy who's hit up some Sizzler buffets in his time.
I mean, you know, a fantastic second round coming out here. Staying even so far. Big trade to start the round. That stagger pressure coming out. Those jabs, those quick little punches coming out are so, so good. They're, you know, advantageous on block. You don't get much off of them on hit, but they can just be what you need to start applying some pressure, start taking rounds. Very important move, even though it doesn't look like much. Sizzler gets our round 3 in game 2.
One round away, putting himself on match point, a chance at the Winter Grand Finals. Nice response there.
Here we see those explosive combos. That was about half of Bob's life bar. Now Rage is available. The pressure's starting to come out, but it's not gonna matter. We see, once again, we're on the final round. These two are going back and forth, seemingly almost completely evenly matched.
Yeah, we see really whoever gets the explosive turn first feels like they're going to end up winning the round. It's putting the other players so far behind.
It's a very, very, very explosive game. Here we see a wall break. We're going downstairs. These can be used to extend combos. They offer change in scenery, so you know, maybe if a character isn't so good on one part of the stage, you can break a wall, go to a different part where you're maybe better. Very, very good from Mura coming out, taking our game 2.
Thinking about it. Nope, looks like they're just going to run it back.
Right back into the rematch. Everyone's happy with the stage and the characters. We're going right back into it. In Street Fighter, we talked a little bit about the V system, and you could see on the HUD each character had a couple numbers in their bottom left corner. And those were selectable moves or different options for your character. Tekken doesn't have that. every character is just them, and you can't really change much about them. It's all about how you play them.
Oh, get the stage break.
Going downstairs, here we go. And an interesting thing about stage breaks is that once you move to a different part of the stage, you stay there until you move to a different part of the stage. So they will be on this downstairs portion of this jungle stage here until the next match starts, which can be absolutely disastrous for some characters and wonderful for some.
Oh, nice response.
It's the big launcher, nothing off of it though. Up against the wall. Big combo. Doesn't quite end it. This one might though. Bob has rage available. Ooh. Does this kill? This is gonna kill and give Mura our round 2.
Open wide.
Just a little bit of overkill there. You know, don't need to bring a rocket launcher to a fist fight, but you know, whatever gets you dubs, I guess.
If you got that in your back pocket, you might as well bring it out from the start.
Oh, it's oh, say hello to my little friend. It's a rocket launcher. You see back and forth that sidestep again, deciding who gets that turn and who gets the pressure up against the wall here. Can't quite force a trade or armor throw move with that big belly. But here we go. We're back. Bob up against the wall. Tough position to get out of for any character. But just like that, as soon as you say it, it's how commentary works. As soon as you say something's going to happen, the exact opposite happens. The Rage Art comes out again. Lots of weapons from Anna. This is really illegal. Where'd she get any of these?
Oh, wow, that was actually enough to kill.
That's impressive.
Probably right on that cusp of not killing there, but we'll take it.
Rage Arts are, every character has one, and to my knowledge, every character's Rage Art actually has as many hits of armor as you need to make it connect. So they're very, very powerful during pressure strings and things like that, where you maybe don't have a normal move that can get your way out of it, but you just apply a little bit of armor and you're out. And Mura is going to take our next game here. I believe that is 2-1, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right. Looks like now we'll get a stage change here from Sizzler.
Let's see where we go to. All right.
Get ready for the next battle.
Same characters, different stage. We're going to see how much this shakes things up.
It looked like it was pretty small stage.
Guess we'll see. I'm
Come over here. Let me
not
talk to you real close.
encyclopedic about Tekken, so.
Let the show begin.
But we're in this market stage here. Actually, from the looks of it, decently sized, although maybe that's just because we're looking at a corner. First hit goes to Bob, and the pressure is on, immediately up against the wall. This looks like it hurts. And I think this is going to kill almost very, very quick first round.
Round 2.
It's probably the best way when you change the stage to come out with a big win there in round 1.
And just like that, sometimes if a matchup is close enough for the characters and the players are evenly matched, sometimes something as little as you know, how far to the edge of a wall you need to go is going to decide the match. And I think that's where you really, really see the good fighting game play, when someone's not getting steamrolled, but it's when it's evenly matched, when it could be anyone's game. I think that's where the brilliance of fighting games really comes through, and you can see and identify things that are happening.
So far, Sizzler's stage change has worked perfectly,
So
as
far.
I say that, of course.
Commentator's curse. Sizzler's up against the wall. The throw break coming out very, very well timed. In fighting games, lots of throw moves, especially ones that every character has, can be what we call teched or broken, where if you input your own grab at about the same time, you're going to break that grab. So it's a very, very powerful option sometimes to maybe get your opponent off you a little bit, get a little bit of breathing room. And a clean 3-0 from Sizzler.
Oh, they're just going to run it back. No hesitation.
Immediately.
Game 5.
Game 5. This is
Round 1.
going to be
Fight.
our final game of this set, and then we will move on to grand finals.
I was shocked, after that 3-0, how quickly they decided, you know what, let's just run it back.
Well, maybe if you think you've figured something out, if you've got a little bit of a lead, you're willing to maybe stay on your opponent's stage. Now, it looks like maybe he does, starting the pressure here. And big low comes out. This combo very well could kill with the rage up against the corner, and it does not. Ow. All right. Bob is claiming our first round of our final game. Big whiff on the ball roll, no punish on it though. This is gonna be a big combo. This is gonna hurt a lot. And we are in the corner. Corner is of course very, very important, especially in Tekken, because it means you can't run away. You gotta stand and fight. No more dodging. You have to hope you know how to block.
Ooh, couldn't quite carry the combo.
All right, we are moving on to
Round 3.
set point here.
Fight.
Tekken, if you'll notice, these characters seem to move a lot more fluidly between their moves. One punch leads to another very quickly. Tekken is based off of what we call strings. So Street Fighter, you have a move, and maybe that leads into another move. I'm gonna stop explaining that though, because we have gone on. Sizzler has beat Mura, and we are moving on to our grand finals, Pencil versus Sizzler.
Yeah, and that was a really good map selection by Sizzler to put it on the market. Went from down 2 rounds to 1 to not even dropping a single match on any of those 2 ones we had on the market. And that's why I was kind of shocked that for Game 5 they kind of just ran it back so quickly, because, I mean, that market clearly felt like something he was comfortable with on how Bob plays.
Yeah, Bob can cover a lot of space. We saw those ball rolls coming out. He has a lot of really big buttons to come out with, so having a big stage where he can dash back a little bit more, maybe cover a bit more space, and not have his space be limited by the stage is a really, really good advantage for him.
And you got any, I won't say predictions, but any feelings how our grand finals might go between Pencil and Sizzler?
I'm really, really excited to see this. Pencil has been watching Sizzler for 2 games in a row. It's very, very possible that Pencil has a little bit of an inkling. We are seeing actually a different character come out.
Now.
King of Muay Thai out here.
Round 1. Fight.
We are back on the jungle stage, and Bob is applying the pressure early in this round.
Kind of interesting, because this is actually the weakest stage for Sizzler in our losers finals.
This is true. Looked like they landed on it by a random select, which is unfortunate. Pencil, although, on the weaker side of this map so far. There's where that armor comes in. You know, if you just need one more hit, it's really safe to use that as a sort of parry or counter. I see Sizzler putting Pencil right into the corner. Up against the wall, already at 40%, it looks like. This could be a big start for something. Dirty throw and a launcher. That is a dirty move, and this combo is going to almost end the round. We have the low kicks coming out.
Been pretty close as we expected in our Winter Grand Finals, of course, but
1 round on the board for each.
oh, nice.
Here's that throw again. Those can really, really upset you if you're expecting to just sit and block for a while. It can really get in your head to get thrown maybe if you weren't expecting it, and that one's going to be the round.
Round 4.
Pencil's up by 1 with his Marduk. Like we were talking about before, having some kind of pocket character, especially in a situation like this where maybe you've already been seen on one character, is going to be really helpful because that's a whole different play you have to learn.
Yeah, Pencil, the only person we've seen so far in our Tekken bracket who's opted to change characters.
The tackle comes out and it gets broken. Those low kicks are coming out. Game 1 goes to Pencil. Very, very well done.
Oh, just the run back though. No stage change or anything.
Fight.
Pencil as the winner in the winners grand finals. Have to go with the bracket reset. He only has to win 2 more games here.
Loser's bracket is an awful place to be, especially in big tournaments. It effectively doubles how many matches you have to play, as well as making it that much, having that much more pressure on you. Yeah, you can only mess up. You can't mess up anymore. Yeah, you used your life.
Exactly, and then when you get to the finals, you got to win 2 rounds in a row instead of just 1.
Which, against the person who didn't lose a single match on their way, can be a very, very difficult task sometimes. Round 1 going to Pencil. Big opener. Marduk, as you can see, is a very, very tall character. His limbs are huge. He can control a lot of space, which Bob is not necessarily great at. These tackle mini games almost are coming out. We saw Sizzler break one of those earlier. If you don't guess correctly on what follow-up that Pencil's going to go for, though, you are in a world of hurt. Up against the wall already. We have not yet seen the stage break this game, and we're 2 rounds in.
They haven't been too close to that breakable wall there. At least this time.
I'm not going to speak to if I think they're staying away from it on purpose. This might be. That is the next game. Pencil 3-0 and on tournament point here. If he wins this next game, then he is the victor of our Tekken 7 tournament.
When we get the stage change from Sizzler, we'll see if it has as much of an impact as it had last time when it sort of rallied him to a spot in the winners into the grand finals.
Excited to see how this goes. Anything left in Sizzler's bag of tricks is going to be of value here. He has to pull out all the stops. He is on the back foot. Here we see that back and forth that we're talking about. Both these characters love to apply pressure. Even with Marduk's long arms, it never hurts to make your opponent a little bit afraid.
Oh, nice shot by Sizzler there. The best round we've seen from him in a little bit.
So far, so good, although that throw might start something. A little bit of pressure going on here. And answers, catches that dash with a few quick buttons. Very, very nice. Sizzler taking round 1 of this game. Game 4.
Oh, nice start there for Pencil, though.
Oh, big throw coming out. Ow, that was 60% off one combo. That cannot feel good. That tackle coming out in the arm break. This is a rough spot to be in, and we see it pay off right there. Here we go.
Pencil have a really good response when he's dropped around here in these grand finals.
This boxing stage seemed to help Sizzler in the first round a little bit, but maybe Pencil's adapted to it a little bit more. Pencil is one of our community Tekken specialists. He talked to him before about it. He said that it's the first fighting game that made a lot of sense to him, where he really started to understand how things work. So this is his game.
And he's all around on tournament point right now this round. So
yeah, he's showing it. He is showing his dominance here. The big throw break tries to answer something. This is a bad spot to be in. This might decide the round right here. There's the arm break. There it is. Congratulations to Pencil. Very, very well done.
That was a great being response by Pencil. I mean, he dropped the very first round of the grand finals, and they only dropped one more the rest of the time. So huge congratulations to him as our winner of the Tekken 7. I mean, we saw him in Street Fighter 5 as well. He definitely feels like one of those, big members in this fighting game community.
Of course. Thank you everyone so much for coming out to this tournament. We actually have a couple people. We have a photographer running around, and then our person from our Smash exhibition is actually going to be from Eastern Oregon University, which very excited to have them coming out. It's so great to see even just an hour, 2-hour drive over coming out just to be together as a community and play some fighting games.
Yeah, you see at least I can see the camaraderie behind us there. Everybody, getting together, talking about what they had, and we heard about that in Street Fighter as well, with everybody getting together. I mean, so any final thoughts, Presidente, from what we saw here in our Tekken before we take a break?
Tekken's just such a great game. I'm so glad that we got to run this tournament today. This coffee was built on coffee and Monster Energy, so I'm really glad to see it pan out so well so far. After this was our last bracket game, so we're going to move on to exhibition matches. Coming up is Dragon Ball Fighters.
Well, you heard it there. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with our Dragon Ball Fighters Z exhibition here in the Beatdown. Don't go anywhere. We're halfway done, but there's still a ton of entertainment right around the corner.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Legendary parts for legendary wins.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
And I thought, I've never released house music before.
denied. Where's your goat now?
You are listening to Monster Cats Call the Wild with today's special artist host, Muzz. His latest LP, The Promised Land, is now available on all digital music stores, so go check that out. Now, let's get back to the music.
Feel the thunder, shake the open ground. Won't give in, I'm fighting for the crown. Heavy clouds are way above my head.
Heavy, heavy, heavy. So, yeah, you just listened to Starglide featuring Cammie Robinson. And, yeah, you definitely don't need me to tell you how good of a singer-songwriter Cammie Robinson is. I mean, she sounds incredible on this track.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Hello and welcome back in the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Continuing on with the beatdown here. Halfway done. 2 still to go. A little bit of a transition though. No longer the 4 game remaining bracket play. We're just going to have a pair of best of 7 exhibitions here. Fish and Presidente still hold it down, and we're on to Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which, as we heard from Draco at the top of all of this, Presidente changes the game again with those ally supports that they added.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different subgenres of fighters. We've seen 2 of them so far. Street Fighter is your standard fare, 2D, back and forth, 1 character. Tekken, we saw add the 3rd dimension. And with Dragon Ball Fighters, you actually get to pick 3 different characters. You play as 1 at a time, and as you play, you can call in your allies to assist you and swap between them. So the game is a lot more, it's complicated in a different way. It's much more focused on getting in close. You know, you're trying to confuse your opponent, mix them up, maybe get a sneaky hit in and convert that into a combo. It's a very, very flashy game. Of course, if you've seen the show Dragon Ball, it's the spirit and the soul of that show in a fighting game. It's fantastic. It's a very, very popular game. We're getting our players set up right now. If you've seen any gameplay of this, it's a very, very popular game casually as well, just because of the IP sourcing. It's developed by a company called Arxis Games, which are famous for their kind of anime style, but it's still 3D, so they can play with the camera a lot. You're going to see a lot of very cinematic moves. You know, the camera moves around a lot in this game, so it can be a little bit confusing to look at if you don't know what you're looking for. The big things you're going to be wanting to pay attention to here are who's moving around and who's getting hit or blocking, and kind of what giant lasers are on screen, because that really decides the game. The defining mechanic of this game makes it really different on the surface from a lot of other games is the super dash. Every character has a button that they can press to just launch themselves at the opponent at very high speeds. It's really impressive. And it can go through certain projectiles. It really defines how the neutral game plays out in this game, as opposed to a game like Street Fighter, where you have to kind of carefully approach and play around your opponent's moves and buttons, or Tekken, where it's all about dodging and lateral movement.
And I mean, you mentioned that they each pick 3 characters. Is it 1 shared health bar? Do they each have a health bar? I mean, are we going to have to see, you know, they have to eliminate 3 separate people? How does the winner and loser work when you have 3 characters instead of just 1?
So the way it works, each character has their own health bar. So a lot of the strategy of the game can come in between, you know, this character, you know, is the character I'm best at, but they've taken a lot of damage so far. I'm going to swap them out, let them recover a little bit, maybe play a different character for a little bit, play a bit more defensively to try to get my stronger character out. Or even just the action of swapping characters can help lead to a lot of mix-ups. A lot of very explosive, very, very tight and fast gameplay in this game. So you do have to eliminate 3 different characters. Each character only takes probably 2 hits to knock out entirely. So you have to play very carefully around that, but the game also encourages aggression a lot. You're going to see with the setups here, in the bottom of each corner of the screen, there's 1 meter that your team shares. This can be used to power up different attacks, much like in Street Fighter with the EX moves. It can also be used to perform different maneuvers, like a vanish, where you teleport behind your opponent because it's an anime fighting game and that's required. And you can use it to escape pressure, maybe turn some things around, extend combos, stuff like that. So it's a very, 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 very wide and tall game. So if you imagine Street Fighter as like a box like this, you know, maybe Dragon Ball plays a bit more like this, you know what I mean, where it's just so much more space, there's so much more movement. It's a very, very expressive game in how you choose to play it. Looks like we are getting into the character select screen here. See, here we go. Both characters look, or both players look like they're in maybe.
It's like making sure every
set up.
Button set up. Yeah, the fact that there's 3 different characters, that part to me is the one that's kind of crazy.
It lends a lot to the strategy of the game. You not only have to consider what 1 character can do, but what 3 characters can do together. Obviously, some characters synergize better than others. Actually, I'm familiar with one of these characters. I play the innermost guy on the left, Captain Ginyu. He's a character known for his level 3 super, which is his biggest move, where he can actually swap bodies with the opponent. And he's not that great of a character on his own, but he can become any character in the game. So it's always a good thing to know how to play Captain Ginyu, because if you don't know how to play Captain Ginyu, then you're going to turn into Captain Ginyu and not know what to do. Other picks here are Goku Black, an early favorite in the meta of the game. We see on the left in the middle, Android 21, mix-up heavy character. In the middle on the right, we have Ultra Instinct Goku, known for being the best character in this game, insanely broken, and having a berry super. He can also walk through projectiles sometimes. Then we saw Super Broly, who's a classical grappler. He wants to get in there and just manhandle you. And Janemba, who I do not know that much about, but I'm excited to see him played.
I really like that they color coordinated all of their players. That was my favorite part, because now it's easy to tell the difference between who's who.
It's how your character looks is almost as important as how they play.
Oh, 100%.
That's why all the league characters, the best league characters get the best skins.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't pick the right skin in League of Legends, you're definitely going to lose. So
skins get wins.
Exactly, and we'll kick off right here with our first of our best of 7.
Here we see those assists coming out. Captain Ginyu is unique in that he actually has a move that calls out individual characters, the Ginyu Force, to assist him in battle. They can cause a lot of chaos on the battlefield if you're not prepared for them. As you can see, there's so much stuff on the screen in this game. It's insane to look at. You have to really know where to look to be good at this game. It's insane. And here we see the combo pickup. There's that vanish I was talking about earlier. Goku Black very well might be on character point. And here we see the character's assists coming out. Sparking has been activated. Sparking is kind of similar to what we saw in the V-trigger system in Street Fighter V. You can activate it to get a burst of power once in a round. And here we see a lot of supers coming out. As I was talking about before, this game is very cinematic. The camera moves around a lot, so blinking you can miss a lot. It's an insane game to keep track of.
So this is definitely the most fast-paced of the ones we've seen today.
So far, somewhat ironically, it actually has the longest round timers of any game. Street Fighter plays 99-second rounds. Tekken plays 60-second rounds. Dragon Ball plays 300-second rounds. So this is due to having to take care of 2 more characters than normal, but it alters the gameplay a lot. It lets you have a bit more breathing room in terms of your decision making.
It does allow you a little bit more stall. It does seem like the slowest amount of damage in terms of how much each player's taking.
Here we go. This combo very well might kill. Plenty of bar on deck. Here comes the super to level out the round. First character down, and we are 100 seconds into the round.
I'll be curious to see how them being down one of those, I guess, support characters and this ability to swap is going to impact our player on the left.
Yeah, so today we have Marathon versus Rose. You see all those reflects coming out. It's kind of a parry type system in this game. And Ginyu is unique in that he actually has 2 level 3 supers, which is not very common in this game. One where he swaps bodies with the opponent, and another where he actually summons the entire Ginyu Force for a gigantic attack. And we are down to 2 characters. Super Broly has gotten in there. This character is massive. He's powerful, and he is a lot of fun. If you like just being in there and just crushing your opponent, he's the character for you. As you see, taking easy care of Ultra Instinct Goku. It is now a 2v1.
We definitely saw more character swaps from the player on the left there. I think you said Marathon than we did on the player on the right, who's kind of stuck with whoever he was had out there, and when they've been down, then he brings somebody new in.
It's a very important factor of strategy in this game. especially once you lose one character, your team is no longer operating at full capacity. So you really have to know how characters come together. And most importantly, you want to save. There's an interesting bit of strategy, since if you, without swapping, your teammates come out in the order you pick them. So these are usually called lead, middle, and anchor, or point, middle, and anchor, if you will. And we see Janemba is Marathon's, or Rosé's anchor. I apologize. Sparking is active. Sparking is a mechanic where it becomes more powerful the less characters you have. So the further behind you are, or the more dire the situation, the longer it lasts, the more damage it does, all that kind of stuff. It just gets better. It is known as a bit of a comeback mechanic, but you can also activate it at the start of the round to try to get an early lead. Janemba's level 3 super coming out to close out Captain Ginyu. We see Super Broly versus Janemba, Anchor versus Anchor, and that combo is a big pickup. That could lead to death. See, there it is. There's the level 1 super, I apologize, to close out our first game.
I like the use of the anchor there. Never brought him in. Then when he came in, he was at full life. And meanwhile, since Marathon was swapping so much, the HP advantage was actually on the other player's side, despite the fact that he had less characters available.
Insane pickup at the start of this round, and here we see a snapback. That's a mechanic where you can actually manipulate which member of your opponent's team is out when you land a move called a Dragon Rush that everyone has. And we see Super Broly here going to town. These long, drawn-out grappler combos are just insane, and if you lose focus for just 1 minute, you can get picked back up into another one. This character is a menace to go against. Just brutalizing Goku Black. You can feel how long he's in this combo. And the level 1 super comes out. Goku Black is 1 hit away. But this might be the death of Super Broly here. Team Super coming out, very, very impressive. Close out Super Broly. That was the last character available in the last game, meaning that potentially Marathon's strongest character is off the board.
Yeah, no anchor available, and I mean, like I said, it seems like neither of them have opted for too many swaps this time. We did get Goku Black swapped out for Goku Ultra Instinct this time, though.
Here we see Captain Ginyu assist. Captain Ginyu is such a weird character in this game, man. No one else does what Ginyu does. He's so reliant on confusing your opponent and getting the best opportunity off of knockdowns in similar situations. We call that set play in fighting games, where you're relying more on knowing your opponent's habits when they're waking up or when they're in a scramble than playing in what some would call a more honest way, utilizing footsies and stuff like that. Ultra Instinct gets picked up into a combo by Android 21. Android 21 can hurt a lot. She's a very, very high damage character. She's actually able to steal other characters' moves through the use of her command grabs. Picks up the kill on Ultra Instinct Goku, and we're in a very similar situation to what we saw in the first game. Marathon is up a character in the 2v1.
Yeah, as you mentioned, so we saw last time, and the Janemba with the nice 1v2 clutch, so you can see why he's the anchor.
But he gets picked up into a combo. Sparking's activated. That's going to keep Janemba alive for a little while longer. As you can see, there's a small section of his health bar that's colored blue after he takes some damage, and that's actually recoverable. Usually what you do is you swap that character back into your backline, bring out someone different to let them recover that blue health. But when you are in Sparking, like Rosé is now, it actually recovers rapidly while your character is out. Although it might not matter so much, it looks like this pickup could be the round. Lots of bar on deck. Let's see if it converts into a kill, and here it is. Fantastic. Game 2 goes to Marathon.
Yeah, that Marathon adapted that time a lot better. He didn't swap as much, so that when it came down to that last matchup. He had more HP to deal with the Janemba than he did on the first time when his character was only about a half health and that Janemba was able to get the clutch.
When you're dealing with this much information on screen at once, it's very, very important to have a plan ahead, something of a point you can work towards. And it looked like Marathon was very, very insistent on having as large a lead he could to get to Janemba. And very, very dead Goku Black coming very easily in this first round here. I'm excited to see what options develop between these two as they adapt within the context of this match. So much on screen coming out from Ginyu. The other members of the Ginyu force are they're just so weird, man. They do so much. The giant laser beams, they're on it's interesting to keep track of, they're on a constant rotation. So the sequence, they're all summoned with the same special move. And the sequence in which they come out is always the same, but sometimes you can command them to do different moves with different versions of the input. Super Broly unleashing his level 3 super, becoming the true Super Saiyan. Interesting fact about Super Broly is that after he uses that move and his shirt's off like it is now, he actually is buffed. He deals more damage for the rest of the match.
Right now he's not having the easiest time against this Janemba.
No, he's not. Janemba mounting this. Seems like maybe the start of a comeback puts him in the corner. But it turns, the tide turns just as fast in the other way. We are seeing this Super Broly being so oppressive in the corner. He has a myriad of different command grabs and attacks that are, you just have to keep track of what's going on. You can react to them, but you have to be paying attention. What makes him such a tough character to fight against is that if you get a little bit too comfortable blocking or looking for a specific option, he'll just hit you with the other thing. Raw level 3 super coming out. Super moves in this game benefit a lot from the invincibility of the move. Dumping all the meter he can to kill in game 3, up 2-1 to Marathon. Very, very well done. Team synergy is a very, very important factor of this game. You can, when one of your characters does a super move, you can actually summon others to do their super moves as well to add more damage onto a combo, assuming you have enough meter to do so. Each character has level 1 super, called level 1 because it costs 1 bar of meter, which you can see for each player in the bottom left there, and a level 3, which takes 3 bars. Of course, the more bars you spend in a combo, the more powerful your move is likely to be. There we see Janemba out after his super is called to help pad the damage of a combo a little bit. Ginyu applying so much pressure in the corner here. It's such a mind game because your opponent gets rewarded for using bigger and bigger moves in these block strings that we see. But if you try to press a different button to maybe interrupt, take your turn, steal a turn maybe, then you have just as much chance of getting hit by a frame trap and just really, really getting messed up. This Dragon Ball Super is an insanely high-powered game. The standard is that 2 combos kills a character, which is kind of what we saw in Tekken, except for it's so much easier to pick up full combos in this game. We can see every single loose hit looks like it leads to so much damage. Captain Ginyu holding on by a thread of life here. We're still in the 3v3. Here we see the body swap coming out. So Marathon is actually going to gain use of Ultra Instinct Goku here. And not only is Rosé left with a character he's not necessarily familiar with, but has just a sliver of health left, and we see that come out. Captain Ginyu is off the board, replaced with Ultra Instinct Goku for Marathon's team. I love pulling that on people online, man. It's so satisfying to just watch people just, what's the word?
Panic might be.
Panic, yeah, with a character they know nothing about.
It does look like Rosé definitely swapped a little bit more this round, and I mean, didn't go the greatest. As you can see, there's still two Broly and Android 21 that are still full HP for Marathon, but at least he does get the down onto Captain Ginyu.
It seems that Rose is trying to distribute the damage more among his characters, maybe have more options available when it comes down to the final seconds of the game. Which, in any game, more options is always, always better to have. Ooh, the super comes out and catches. Looks to be a mix-up from Android 21. Apply all the pressure you want. If a bigger move comes out, sometimes you just get caught.
Saw that blue health available, but not opting to switch out to Broly.
Not yet. Android 21 gets caught. This could very well be death, although Rose has no meter to capitalize off of. Here we see 7 bars of meter allows for the deadliest combo you possibly can have. Here we see sparking activated, and you can see just how quick you start to get that life back. Janemba assist comes out, answered by the Broly super assist, and that is a dead Goku Black. Once again, we see Janemba in a situation where he might have to 2v1 or lose.
Unfortunately, there's a lot more bars on the side of Marathon than Rose. That's going to make the comeback a lot harder, if at all even possible.
Looks like that's going to be the game. Game 4, it is 3-1 in Marathon's favor.
Neither opting for any changes here. So yeah, Marathon on match point, and be curious to see how Rose wants to answer, because in game 1 it felt like he played it right with the lack of swaps, but now he swapped around in that one and it didn't go well for him, but it's a good start for him with Goku Black.
Nice pickup on that combo. Doesn't lead to nearly as much damage as I'm sure he would have liked. The pressure's coming out. Ginyu is catching people with those call-in assists. Says, come help me open this guy up a little bit. I want to cross him up. That's a big combo, and he has plenty of meter to use as well. We see the character swap with Janemba's level 1 super as well, bringing him out. Bringing the anchor out this early is risky. Generally, your anchor is your most solid character, the one you know the most about, the one you're most comfortable with. So it can be really, really risky to bring them out this early in the match, but also very rewarding, because generally you'll be up against a less comfortable character of your opponent's, meaning, you know, even just having that little bit extra can really, really turn the tide of a match.
Janemba will get the down there on the Captain Ginyu. Puts it at a 2v3, and not the greatest start. Android 21 already hit to about 50%.
Already with the pickup. Incredible, incredible play coming out from Rose. Like a man possessed. He's looking to not make this as clean a sweep as it's been so far. And that did just about 50% of that health bar. Marathon really should think about swapping, or he could just pick up Goku Black in another combo.
Maybe gets the pick on a Goku Black, at least gives him a chance.
There's the grab with the snap back. Bring out Janemba, maybe try to soften him up to maybe make it not as difficult as a last stand. Doesn't look like it's working out. Insane combo coming out here. Does the remaining 50% of Android 21's life bar. Here we are left with Dragon Ball Super Broly in a position where he has to 1v3.
Now, unfortunately for him, Janemba and the Goku Ultra Instinct both at full HP. It's going to make it even harder.
This is not a situation you want to be in, especially in the corner. This is about the worst place you can be. He even has so much meter. If you could just get an opening, could maybe even kill a character in 1 or 2 touches here. There's the sparking to get some pressure off of him, but it amounts to not. The Ultra Instinct Goku assist comes in. Rocks him with almost a full combo. But Super gets a bit of a pickup. Here we go. And there's the touch. It looks like this is going to be the game. Putting it at 3-2, still in Marathon's favor, maybe. Ooh, there it is.
Nice little play when his back was against the wall there for Rose.
Rose's biting back for sure. That was a dominant round. Still had all 3 characters alive.
They definitely played the swap. I like him swapping to Janemba, his anchor, a little bit earlier, and it looks like he's actually going to force Marathon to make a character change.
Let's see what the teams are going to look like here. Goku Black, Ultra Instinct, and Janemba still. It looks like Marathon is swapping up teams entirely. My, all right. Seeing, is that 2 or 3 brand new characters? Didn't quite catch who the last one was.
I think it's
there.
3. I think it's, yeah, all 3 of them.
3 brand new characters. Here we go, Videl, Master Roshi, and Jiren. A completely unfamiliar team trying to swap up his strategy to secure the match point.
Yeah, interesting that on match point, still up 3-2 overall, he swaps. And, so far the swap not going too well.
I mean, it's a big risk, maybe already seeing the snapback. Master Roshi is a very unique character in this game. That super dash mechanic that we talked about earlier is actually not part of his kit. He's just a normal guy. He doesn't have all this fancy magic stuff going on. So he is actually dead already is what he is. But he's the only character in the game without a normal super dash.
I say, yeah, he, the normal guy felt like he was very much overmatched.
He can really take over a match, though. He's a very technical character, known for having a lot of tricks. Ultra Instinct Goku putting the pressure on Videl here in a 2v3. This combo might end the round. There it is. We are left with the anchor Jiren in a 1v3 situation again.
Yeah, this swap for Marathon has backfired. Almost feels like that's not even the right word at this point. I mean, Roshi died before he would even do anything, and at least Jiren's doing a little bit, but this would be quite the comeback on 2 characters at full life. He still hasn't even got the KO on Goku Ultra Instinct, but he looks like he should be able to pick it up with this combo.
There it is. That's a dead Goku Ultra Instinct, which from a purely meta perspective is one of the most powerful characters in the game right now, if not the best character in the game. So that's a major loss to have that many options, that much power gone. It's all in the players, though. We'll see how this Goku Black fares. A big whiff on the Vanish actually leads to a reset of the pressure. There's a command grab coming out from Jiren. Open him up a little bit, make him have to think about that, you know?
Oh, nice swap here onto his anchor.
Jiren looking very dominant, carrying this team almost.
I mean, that's the reason why I don't think that's how he drew it up, to kind of have to be in a 1v3 clutch, but it's working out so far.
He's gotten a character and a half done. There's that sparking coming out, only the nick of time.
Of course, as we say it, Jiren takes about 30% of his life.
Here we go. Here's the pickup. That's a lot of meter on Rosé's side. That might, could very, very well close out the round. Level 1 super into the Goku Black level 3. Is this going to kill? I don't think it's going to kill, but it's going to be very, very close. Any hit's going to do it here. Marathon has to be very, very careful. There's that touch. Doesn't have nearly as much meter as Rosé did at the start of his combo. Oh. Loses his pressure and loses the round. We have seen it is now 3-3. We are at match point.
I'm kind of
Very excited to see how this comes out.
Kind of shocked the Marathon ran it back, because I thought that the first 2 parts of the team did not play very well. Maybe he just needed a round to adjust, and maybe that's the case, as he immediately combos Goku Black to 50%.
Videl is one of the newer characters in the game. She also has some unique mechanics to her. Every character in the game has known what to reflect. It's basically a move to parry hits towards precise timing. Videl's deflect is actually replaced with a sway, so she can dodge an individual move and hopefully punish back. It's not the greatest unique mechanic in the game by a lot of accounts, but she's still seen a good amount of play. And again, it is all about the player and how familiar you are with your character. Ultra Instinct Goku had a nice combo there, but it is Videl's turn once again. Vanishes into the drop kick from Ultra Instinct Goku. That's gotta hurt, but the pickup comes back. This might be the end of Ultra Instinct Goku.
It's gonna be close. This is the super, can't quite finish it.
that's going to do it. That Roshi level 1 super can hurt out a good amount. And there's the down on Ultra Instinct Goku. Roshi, at full health, looks like he's going to put in some work. You can even see there in the little stage transition there, Roshi did not use a super dash to move across the stage. He used a beam behind him to launch him forward. There we see where those assists can really, really come in. They add a lot to your pressure game. They add a lot to your mix-ups. It's one more thing to keep track of on the screen, which can make it really, really hard to read what's going on, which direction you need to block from.
Forces the swap onto Janemba. Pretty good for Marathon with the anchor for Rose. Now already hit down to 50% one combo.
Alrighty, this is where those Roshi techniques come in. He's a very tricky character, being able to pick up combos exceptionally well, being able to mix you up. The Lullaby Strike or Lullaby Punch, I forget exactly what that's called. Technically acts as a command grab in this game, just has a little bit of stall time. You want to press a button to counter it, but as soon as you do, you get hit by it. Get opened up to a full combo. Super Kamehameha coming out to finish out the anchor there. This is a dire situation for Rose in another 1v3 situation with only his Goku Black and sparking. Does have 6 bars of meter that can really, really add a lot of damage to a combo. Uses one of them for a vanish, gets it back. Here we go. We see the level 3 super, the Scythe, coming out. That's not going to kill, but it is going to leave Roshi at 1 hit. Oh, doesn't quite pick it up. He gets a little bit caught up in his own mix-up. Here's the pressure coming out. Ooh, he cracked. And it worked out. This combo very well may be death. 2 bars. Ouch, I think this is going to be the end for Rose.
Indeed it is.
Very, very well played. Exciting match from both of our competitors. Give it up for them for coming out to the exhibition match. Thank you so much. Roshi's so happy that he won. If you were an old man fighting against gods from outer space, I think you would be too.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I didn't think we actually were going to get a 7-game series out of that. So, I mean, huge shout out to Rose for coming back. And then for Marathon, I mean, the swap took him around to kind of figure everything out. That first time after he swapped was not pretty, but he ends up getting the win in the end. You can kind of see why he swapped over.
Yeah, so the team swap worked out fantastically in the end, even though that first game seemed a little bit rough. I'm very, very glad that we actually got a 7-game series. Point of these exhibition matches to show off a game, how cool it can be and what our community can do with it. And we just got 7 games straight of pure Dragon Ball action, and I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, I was just, I mean, we've kind of gone through the evolution. You know, we started with just the 2D, we went to the 3D with Tekken, and then we completely changed the entire game. But now we're going to go, I don't know if it's really an evolution, but it's probably the most popular fighting game that the average person has heard of. It's time for the final one. It is time for Super Smash Bros. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with our last exhibition. Hopefully 7 more games around the corner to wrap everything up here with the beatdown at Boise State.
I'm so excited to see it.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Legendary parts for legendary wins.
nemesis. Warning. You're my nemesis. Warning. You're my nemesis. 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 Warning, you're my nemesis. Warning.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena, where the beatdown is continuing. We're finally in our last chapter with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, an exhibition match. I am Daniel Glovely Clock, joined once more by Mason Presidente Standall. We're getting into Smash Ultimate. There's two brand new characters, or rather one brand new character combined into two. Pyrrha and Mithra added to the game. How do you think that's going to shape the meta?
So, character swaps have always been a really, really interesting thing in Smash Brothers. We've seen different forms of characters before. You know, we saw it with Zelda and Sheik in Melee and Brawl, and then we saw it even more with Pokemon Trainer, who could actually swap between three. We have Pokemon Trainer in Smash Brothers Ultimate, which we did not have in the latest iteration, but this is the first kind of back and forth, just two characters that they've added to Ultimate, since Sheik and Zelda are now different characters. It used to be an old joke in the Melee community that Zelda was the best character in the game because her down B turned her into the best character in the game. So I'm interested to see if that pans out a little bit more, if that becomes the way it is, or if the characters are a little bit more balanced between each other.
There did seem to be sort of an emphasis by Sakurai on kind of creating them to work similarly, but with more emphasis in speed or power. This is Smash Bros. Ultimate 1 versus 1 competitive. Players will play to best of 7. The character is winner locked, or the winner is character locked, but the loser is able to swap to whatever champions they want, giving them the option to counter pick there. We are getting into game 1. It's going to be Ike versus Rob in their first matchup.
Now, back when I played this game a lot more, I was actually a Rob player myself. I'm a fan of the robot. Ike is really, really known for having those big sword buttons, a lot of mobility, a lot of power. Of course, the downslide being that he's a little bit slower than the other sword wielders in the game. Does not seem to be holding him back at all at the moment, though. We see him taking early control over the ledge. Mistimes his attack a little bit there. Rob manages to slip through with the invincibility frames.
Good pressure lead by Ike. He's got a lot of power and range with that sword, but Rob, of course, able to zone him out using those gyros. Good up air, pushes Ike into the air, not able to follow up for the KO, of course. Not at this point in the game, since still early, but a good smash attack could end the round.
Here we see the really interesting back and forth that comes out of this matchup a little bit more. Of course, both characters have a lot of space that they can cover. Rob with his lasers and his blaster, there's a burner bottom and his gyro, and Ike with his giant sword. Rob has to play around Ike's ledge pressure a lot here. You know, both are very, very good at controlling that immediate area below the stage. Ike with his eruption, neutral B. Rob with his down air, which is a massive jet burn. So space is the deciding factor, I think. Who has better control of the space is really going to decide who wins this entire match, I think.
And there is a lot of focus being given to the space. Good spacing with those nairs, and it's giving Ike a lot of room to move here. Eruption doesn't land. Upper recovery does not save Rob. He's going to get flung off the stage. Still 3 lives here for the Ike. Rob having a hard time fighting the KO.
There we saw a punish opportunity go missed. One hit could definitely kill Ike here, but that would be quite the comeback to make. He is, of course, 2 stocks down and very, very close to death himself.
Good use of that Gyromite on the platform, preventing him from trying to engage up above. He's going to swat it out of the way. Good jab, follows up with the Gyromite. Shielded though. Tries to find a smash attack just to finish out the stock, but has not been able to get a kill. Back throw, that's going to end the Ike. He's still got 2 more lives to go through though, and he's already at 90%.
Doesn't look like this is the start of a comeback though. Ike immediately takes the ledge again. Rob is one of the stronger characters when it comes to being able to mix up how he recovers to the stage. His up B recovery move is, of course, a kind of a jetpack type move, so he can decide when it's on and when it's off and mix up his timing, which can really, really mess with a character like Ike, who's trying to just keep you off the ledge at all costs.
Just get a nice little up air combo. trying to create pressure here. He does have that disadvantage, but unfortunately, the back air lands is going to be able to survive.
Wake up attack gets that eruption. That's got to kill.
It was some good DI, but unfortunately, it turns out that science isn't everything.
No sympathy from me.
Very, very well done from Ike in our first game here.
You know, someone who played a little Raw back in the day, back in Brawl, he's very much a zoner character, but closing out those stocks can be very difficult. Just because you don't have a lot of power behind your moves like an Ike does, sometimes if Ike just looks at you the wrong way with one of those smash attacks, you can lose a stock off of it.
Of course, a very common thing in Smash Brothers is for someone to have multiple characters in their pocket, each character being a bit simpler than you would see in a lot of other fighting games, so you can have a more diverse arsenal. Seeing a Pikachu pit come out here against Ike, we'll see how this works. Pikachu, being a classic fast rushdown character, wants to get in there, wants to combo you to death, as opposed to landing those few big hits that Ike likes to.
The Pokemon mascot is a very popular choice, considered to be one of the better characters in Smash Ultimate, just because of how much movement he can cover and just how quickly he can rack up damage. But of course, Ike, every single one of those hits is dealing a significant amount. Good Thunder Jolt to give recovery for coverage. Gonna shove him off the ledge, but Thunder does not connect.
That Thunder is such an oppressive tool off stage. Of course, if you hit the cloud, it will spike you back down to the bottom of the stage, which is just nasty to deal with. And it can also be used to cover your descent like that, create just an area where your opponent cannot be, where they'll be literally struck by lightning. With the up B out of shield as a reversal, takes the first stock of our second game.
Yeah, one of the downsides to playing these small characters is that they do have very low weights, and that allows them to be flung much easier. Up smash gonna shove Ike off. Good forward smash. The Thunder Jolt, a really great ability. That hitbox lasts forever.
That side B from Ike that we keep seeing is such a risky move. If it's blocked or if it's dodged, it has a lot of recovery time on it and can really decide a round, and not in your favor if you use it willy-nilly. Pikachu on the verge of taking a stock, although taking plenty of damage himself here.
He's having trouble closing it out, though, even though he's landed a couple of smash attacks and a Thunder. Good forward air. It's going to send Ike flying, but it won't be enough for the KO. Tries to get the 2-frame with Thunder, but doesn't quite connect. Good forward smash doesn't land, but the down smash is going to finish things off. That's going to even up the stocks with an 91% lead.
Ike can easily kill from that range. This is not at all a safe place for Pikachu to be. He needs to get killed or find a lead. I was going to say find a lead, but...
I guess I tried to call Pikachu out, truth or dare, and he took the dare.
Oh man, just as much space as Ike controls, it can make it so difficult for a light, combo-oriented character like Pikachu to get in there properly. Even though Pikachu is exceptionally fast, if you're not looking exactly for what you need, it's gonna hit you with those giant hitboxes.
Good spike there right off the ledge, and it is dangerous to end up in a melee with a character like Ike right up there on the ledge, so good play there by Resolve.
All right, looks like we're going back to stage select here. Of course, in Smash Brothers, the stage is a major determiner of who's good, just like in Tekken. So I wonder if we're going to see another character swap or if the Pikachu is going to stay in the fight here.
Well, you know you're up against the Ike. His recovery is somewhat limited, at least in terms of vertical recovery, so maybe trying to find a stage where that challenges him or find a way that you can use those platforms. Pokemon Stadium, a very popular choice, being covered right now, but not quite locked in yet. Smashville, another very popular choice. Those moving platforms could present some opportunities for Pikachu.
It's very interesting. I've fallen out with Smash Bros. A little bit since I was really into it, but it's still always great to see. Of course, Ike, Villager staying with Pikachu. Let's see if anything will happen in this next game. I'm excited to see it.
Pikachu does have that mobility advantage. Watch for those moving platforms, and it is Saturday night, so hey everybody, it's KK Slider performing for us.
It's Saturday night. Let's rock. Ike is picking it up with this huge damage. And though Pikachu has landed more individual hits, Ike just can stack on the damage. Although it looks like the pressure's coming out a little bit. The surprise side B stops the air combo. Those electricity balls from Pikachu are one of the harder things for Ike to deal with in this matchup. Ike not having a real projectile of his own can be really, really weak to zoning, with his limited options for rushdown play and stuff like that.
Lightning loop. Thunder finds him off
seals
the
the
edge.
first stock.
Good play there by Pikachu. Gets the lightning loops. That's 2 loops, 3 loops off the side. Good Thunder. Both of them are going to go down, but I say overall, that's a victory for Pikachu.
Very explosive round so far. Pikachu is just such a combo-oriented character. You can die so quickly. Of course, famously in his melee version, one hit can lead to a death even from low percents. Keeping Ike off the stage and off range as much as possible here. The dodge on the dash grab comes in, puts him back off stage. Pikachu's such a punishing character with how fast he is to mess up against. You make one little mistake and you're kind of in the gutter.
Yeah, Q's making excellent use of these platforms to force Ike to play his game. Watch just the way that he's setting up these Thunder Jolts. Good down smash, shoves Ike off the ledge. It's not gonna kill.
No pressures allowed. Missed opportunity with that whiffed side B there. We're gonna see exactly how this pans out. So far in the stream, we've talked a lot about frame data, which is very kind of abstract concept in a lot of fighting games. It can be really tough to understand. Smash Brothers is maybe the least reliant on it of any of the games we've played so far. Street Fighter, you need to know when to poke or not poke. Tekken is all about frame data, how quick you can be. And Dragon Ball FighterZ is, of course, determining what pressure strings you can go for. But Smash Bros. Is much more about spacing and just with how different of a game it is of course interesting to see how this comes out. It's not a traditional fighting game in any sense of the word. Here we see Ike is one hit away from death here. Runs into the fireball.
Probably ended up saving him, actually, giving him the chance to recover further. That neutral special, not exactly the safest recovery option. Having such a hard time getting in, maybe needs to shield a bit more. Up smash. Goodbye, Ike. Q's going to take the stock.
Incredible play there. Moves on. It is now 2-1. That stage select really, really did a lot there for Pikachu.
Yeah, counter pick will go over to resolve. He'll have the option to choose his stage.
It is Ike's turn to pick the stage and his turn to change characters if he so desires. Looks like they're going to Yoshi's Story, a solid pick.
That was a fun Nintendo 64 game I was growing up with. It is going to be Pikachu locked in. The Ike will also follow.
See if this stage select can win him another game, or if Pikachu is going to keep being a little rat.
Platforms are generally still a concern here for Ike, although he does have the opportunity to KO it here because the horizontal area of the stage is a much smaller blast zone, so that should work a lot better for him. He's going to be looking for horizontal KOs.
Ike controls so much more of this stage than any other stage. It's so difficult to run away from that big of a sword when you're on this small of a platform. Those floating platforms there are really, really helpful for Pikachu, though, letting him dash around on them a lot more and maybe avoid Ike a little bit more.
He's good.
Looks like down tilt into up air, classic gameplay coming out of Ike. Ooh, staying right in that good range where Ike doesn't have a fast button to react with, but any slow button is going to be reactable by Pikachu.
One of the big advantages to Pikachu is that he can duck under some of these sword moves just because of his small size. He uses Thunder Jolt to let himself get safely back on the ledge, but is going to get knocked away by the side B.
Ooh, first stock of this game goes out to Ike forward tilt. Such a powerful character, even such a quick move can be the default of a lot of characters. Smash is interesting in how it balances characters. You can have a lot of power loaded into a character, like you see this with Ike, and other characters include like Ganondorf, where they have so much power loaded into them. If you're playing a light character and succumbing to the pressure, it can almost feel like you have like half a life bar just at the start of the round.
Good forward air, just trying to close in. Catches him at the bottom of the Thunder. Thankfully not in the hitbox. He's going to use that up air to force him upwards. Good forward smash, not enough to finish him off. Good DI keeps Ike alive. Very high percentage though.
Pikachu coming up from the crowd. Back throw does not quite kill Ike. Moves are balanced in a very interesting way. You can't just say it does this much damage and, you know, combos into this. You really have to consider in Smash, you know, how far does it go initially? How well does it scale off of how much percentage they has? Is this move gonna kill? What is my best option here? There's always such an interesting question in Smash Bros. Because of how variable and weird the game is.
90% now as Hugh gets flying. Eruption isn't going to connect. Good Thunder Jolt to cover the recovery. Uses the dash attack just to force a little bit of pressure. Good toss up into up air. Gets caught in an up air of his own, but the DI keeps him alive.
Ooh, the Ether comes out. Ether is a pretty armored move. Ike is a tough boy. He can power through a good amount. Those jabs coming out from Pikachu are rough, though. Zipping around the stage like a little rat he is. Ah, this character gave me so much trouble in online.
Pikachu tends to give people trouble just about everywhere, but right now, Pikachu is the one in trouble. Ike now 74% over Pikachu and still has a stock lead, so it's a bit of an uphill climb. Does get a good neutral air, but needs to find a KO option. Lightning Loop for one. Tosses out a Thunder Jolt just to try and cover the stage a bit.
This matchup is so interesting to me because it's a matchup about who, you know, Ike, who can, you know, attack from like a third of the stage away with so much range versus a character who can, like Pikachu, who's so fast it can be anywhere. But Ike takes our third game.
Remarkable. Sometimes it's not about dodging, it's just about not being where the attack is. And unfortunately, Pikachu's not able to find the space with Ike's massive sword swings. Ragnell covering most of the stage.
Famous pioneer of Smash Brothers Melee actually said the key to winning the game is don't get hit, which I think rings true in Smash Brothers more than any other game. One wayward hit, it's not like your combo has to end at any point in Smash. You can theoretically keep a combo going as long as you want to, just as long as you have the knowledge and positioning required to just follow up.
Captain Falcon actually going to be the switch off here, so Pikachu out, Falcon in. Something of a really stylish character in the way he plays, especially if you manage to land that big Falcon punch, but that is a huge committal. So right now already things not going great for him. Ike still has that melee range advantage, and unlike Pikachu, Captain Falcon doesn't have the ability to fire off projectiles from a safe distance.
Captain Falcon is, of course, a much harder hitter than Pikachu, though. His, you know, the Knee of Justice, he has so many tools to confirm a kill. Maybe that's all that he needs is to really be able to make good work of his openings.
Good jab combo, does get 30%, but unfortunately, Ragnell is constantly being in his face. Ike doing a great job of controlling the space. Good forward throw off the ledge, doesn't land the knee though.
So close. That knee is such a hype move. Yeah, the screen stops, lightning goes everywhere. Your opponent goes flying. Such a great move to see. Captain Falcon, one of his weaknesses, very fast on the ground, very slow in the air, very predictable recovery. The eruption comes out and just blows up Captain Falcon's recovery.
Yeah, I do question the switch, especially given how the Ike has been giving him trouble here, but Q at least seems to have the idea that this Falcon will work out for him. Tries to recover with a Raptor boost, but the sword goes through the stage.
It's such a tough matchup. Captain Falcon's limbs, they may be long, but they're not as long as a sword.
Rolls back to pick himself off the ground, close in with a side B, punished by a good grab. Fortunately,
doesn't quite get the combo off it though.
Doesn't quite land. Another side B, trying to use that shield to stop the side B here.
There you see, Captain Falcon has to just take whatever opportunities he can, but also has to worry, you know. He's very, very close to death here. one misplaced move could be the end of him. Starts off a combo with the Raptor boost, though. Doesn't quite get the knee connect.
Aether lands. That might be a KO. Yes, not
That's
quite
game.
enough DI.
GG's to our competitors in our Smash Brothers exhibition.
Fantastic match by both Resolve and Q. I do think definitely that Ike had a huge pressure advantage over. So congratulations to both of you players out there. You did a fantastic job. We are now starting to wrap up the beatdown here at Boise State in the Game Pants Esports Arena. Any final thoughts for the evening?
I'm so thankful for everyone who came out to this tournament. It's been a labor of love for me to put this all together. Thank you to our tournament entrants for sticking with the same game for a month or more in the same bracket, and thank you to our exhibition match competitors for coming out here. I'll have more information about the next round of the beatdown soon, but thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all for competing. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap things up here tonight. We'll check you out next time we have the beatdown or here at the Boise Game Pants Esports Arena for your next esports event. But for now, we're signing off on this Saturday night. Have a good night, everybody.